Two right now again.
All right. We are live and direct. And I'm going to, yeah, see you also on YouTube, Brother Anthony. Okay. Um, I'm going to post
Well,
the call in
welcome
link.
to Wealth Results with my good brother here, Ofori-Atta. And if you want to join us, of course, you can join us. We got a question or comment. You all know the number 205-417-7552. You join us on a multiple platforms, YouTube, Facebook. Uh, we're there. We try to be where you are. We're being censored. Oh, we'll be stepping away from those platforms. My brother Haru Fariata coming up momentarily. And for those folks who may be tuning in for the first time, Brother Haru Fariata, the Bachelor's of Science degree in Biology and Psychology from Tufts University, Jewish doctor from Northeastern University School of Law. Haru is the founder of Urban Results Industries, where he is a creator, inventor, and manufacturer of herbal medicines that has achieved consistent reversal of serious illnesses. Tune in to the Monday program, Health Results with Heru. He is also, or has been, an early investor in Bitcoin since 2012, Tesla since 2015, and also began trading Forex in 2005. And over the years, Heru immersed himself in a deep study of various trading systems and emerged with a unique, consistent, and successful trading methodology with a high percentage of profitable trades. And you're all invited to witness, mirror, observe, copy, analyze his trades with a weekly, monthly, and yearly subscription. The brokers and trading platforms that Heru presently uses, the Hugo's Way, Forex pairs, metals, cryptocurrency, and indices. Robinhood is used for stock options. And you're free to use your own preferred broker and platform. Brother Heru Fariata.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, man. Big up to Brother Anthony. And for those of us who are tuned in to this on Facebook on my page, I put the StreamYard call in link. So if you want to call in to chop it up with us, you can feel free to do so. It should be a great show today. We have a guest with us. I like to bring in a wide range of ideas and people who have done some things that I think are worthy of emulation. We have a sister coming on today, Sister Nikala Asante, who now lives in Africa. I think she was born in Houston, or she was raised in Houston, Texas. Now she lives in Africa. She has an online business where she does homeschooling, and she does a few other things around artificial intelligence training and what have you. And so I think that her story is a very, very important story. She's lived in Belize, which is considered, the Caribbean, Central America, and she now lives in East Africa, Rwanda, and she's living a great life. She's bought, she's farming right now. She's got land. She's immersed in the community, and so I want you all to hear her story and get some ideas, because a lot of people talk to me about traveling and living in different countries, and because I've done that, a lot of people ask me a lot of questions, and so I'd like to expose you all to exemplary people who are doing some good things around having autonomy and choices and living where they want to live. Most people live where they're living based on circumstance, not, you know, full decision, right? A lot of people say, man, if I could travel or I could explore different places, I would, but my job is keeping me here. And so then your duty becomes, how can you make money without being pinned down to one place on earth, right? If you want to be able to see the world. So I can tell you right now, I've lived in, different places in the Caribbean. I've lived in the United States. I've lived in different countries in Africa. And I have a son, and ever since he was born, his passport has been stamped um, all over the place. And he's, gone to school in different places in the world. And, you know, he's spent time in Nairobi, Kenya. He spent time in Mombasa, on the beaches of Mombasa. He's, gone to school in Rwanda. He's, traveled with me in many different places that I've been. And in my estimation, his ability or his opportunity that he had through, his parents to be able to see the world more than, the place of his birth, to be able to see the world has been more rich in terms of providing him an education than sitting in a classroom,
Mm-hmm.
right? That the
Mm-hmm.
world should be your classroom. And so, um, travel is very important, y'all. You don't really get to open up your worldview until you travel and see the
Right.
world. And then please understand too that, in terms of this being Wealth Wednesdays, there's a lot of money to be made in different parts of the world, y'all. There's a lot of money to be made if you forge the right relationships and you are able to close the gap in terms of needs and provide certain needs, man, you can make a lot of money and live very comfortably in different parts of the world. And so, we want to have this show and make it very practical for people as people are, I see people are tuning in one by one. I'm going to see if Red Pill is going to be able to call in to expose his audience to this information, because Nikala will be calling in soon. And I know there's people who also want to get into the trading in the, the numbers and what we're looking at, and we can get into that as well. We'll probably do that towards the uh, end of the show, where we will go on to my platform, herutrades.com, and I'll pin that as a comment as well on the Facebook page for those who are listening. I'm going to make sure that you know where to transition to. And it's just herutrades.com. So when we start talking about, trading and money and what have you, because those are sensitive topics, we'd like to do it on our own platforms and not platforms owned by other people. So that's herutrades.com. You see the link uh, at the bottom of my name on the screen, right? So you'll see my name on the screen and you'll see herutrades.com. That's where we're going to go towards the end of this conversation, y'all, um, so that people can understand that we do these things on our own platforms, right? Our own platforms are very important because we control everything. And Brother Anthony can tell you. You want to just share the story, Brother Anthony, of broadcasting on YouTube and what has happened?
Yeah, it's a similar story, my brother. Unfortunately, that's why it's important to own our own platforms and media outlets. I was on YouTube last week, started about a week on YouTube, and damn if I'm not censored already. They took down Brother Heru's video for violating standards. I don't know
Right.
what they are, but they sent me an email, man, and a copy of your YouTube video, and so
Hmm.
I'm censored already. They said as a warning, and the next time they'll take me off for a week.
Yeah, and I think what happened was that was a particular episode when we mentioned things around the words you're not supposed to say that rhymes with track scene.
Right.
So I think that that's what they're very sensitive about. So
Got it. Right.
what, whenever we do those shows on that particular topic, we're going to take it straight to our websites.
Right.
So, the beautiful thing is that I have my own property, which is herbalresults.net, and I also have herutrades.com for things I do around business and investing and trading. And health is herbalresults.net. And then Brother Anthony, in his wisdom, had put up Sankofa Revolutionary Radio, WSYP 951.com. He's done that, for a decade. And so
Yep.
it's been there. So it's like, we are able to control our own message. We only broadcast on Facebook and YouTube and these other places because we know a lot of our people are there and a lot of people who could use this information is there. But we would be remiss not to uh, let you know that if you want to get uncensored information, you're going to transfer over to our live broadcast on our particular properties that we own. Okay. So, what we're going to do right now is we're going to talk about, before the sister Nikala comes up, please understand that we are in a war right now. uh, which is a, when I say we, the whole world is paying attention to this, because anytime there's a threat of nuclear weapons, the whole world needs to watch this. And we see what's going on with the United States and Iraq. And we, as inhabitants of this planet, have a very serious we have a very serious interest in making sure that we understand what's going on, we can protect ourselves from what may be going on, and we can also leverage ourselves to be able to uh, put our families in positions where we can come out of this situation even better than we were. And that's what we call kinetic knowledge, right? So kinetic knowledge is movable information, movable knowledge, information that you get where you're able to actually leverage that information for the betterment of yourself and your family. And we have what I call paralytic or static knowledge, and that's seen uh, a lot in our communities, where people know a lot of things, but it doesn't reflect in the standards of their life. It doesn't reflect in, the forward movement of their family financially or economically. So people know a lot of information, but it's non-actionable, or they're just sitting on the information and not making it something practical in their lives. So what we do in this show is that I literally show people what I'm doing when it comes to options trades or stocks or forex. I show people my charts. I show you the trades that I'm in, and I show you how they're doing, and people can take it from there. But I like to give people chapter and verse. I like to give people like what it really looks like in the real world, and how different news events affect the markets. I've been doing this for some time, and I do technical analysis, which is really analyzing a chart. So when I look at a chart, for people who have never seen it, it looks like a mess. Like you don't know what the chart is saying. But for those of us who are skilled at this thing, the charts reveal a beautiful language. And once you know what you're looking at, you know how to read it, um, you can understand where price is moving. Typically, you're not right 100% of the time, but you can be right enough that it makes a difference in your economic life, in your ability to have choices in this world. Whether you want to, sleep in today, you can. You want to go to sleep late, you can, because you're in control of your time, right? And this is what wealth is about. Wealth is a avenue so that the human being can have control of their time, because without wealth, you have to basically sell your time to other people, which is called having a job, right? And so we don't want to sell our time to other people. We want to have our time reserved for ourselves and the things that we love and the people who we love. And the only way to be able to do that is to be economically free. And so, as we talk about group economics, we talk about individual economics too, because the individual economics is going to set the tone for what you can actually say to other people, because people are going to say, well, what have you been able to do for yourself? Right? You talk good, but what have you been able to do for yourself? And at that point, you should be able to show them your charts. You should be able to show them, your options trades. You should be able to show them the investments that you made over time, and so forth and so on, so people can know that you actually know what you're talking about, right? So that's very important. So we're supposed to have a caller call in, Sister Nikala Asante. We do have, she just entered the chat. We do have someone who just entered also. The brother's name is Corey. I don't know if you're looking to come on live, Corey, but I'm going to put you on live along with Nikala. Nikala has just joined us. And Corey, since you called first, we'll just take your question and we'll get into Sister Nikala. All right.
Yeah, hey brother, how you doing?
I'm
Yeah,
great.
I'm here for the interview with Sister Nikala.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
yeah, I look forward to everything that she has to offer, and also as what you have to offer. I actually purchased your product, and I think is a really good product. The olive leaf, the maximum strength olive leaf extract,
Okay.
and
Okay.
yeah, so I started following you maybe about a couple of weeks ago. So yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I wish you great health and great wealth, man. And
Appreciate it.
I'm glad that you're tuned in. And, we want to make sure that you're getting value for your time. And so hopefully this show is very valuable to you.
Yes. Yes.
Excellent. So, I mean, you can stay on with us if you want, or I can, take you off the screen and you can listen in. How do you want to do it?
Yeah. Well, I guess if I have some questions after later on after the interview, maybe you can bring me back in. But I can
Okay.
just listen for now.
Okay. All right. So if you got any questions, just let me know. You can just send in a text that you got some questions and we'll put you back on. Okay.
Okay. Appreciate it.
All right, bro. All right. We've got the woman of the hour is in the house, and she's tapped in directly from the motherland, from Africa, East Africa. I don't know if your screen is frozen. Sister Nikala, you there, Nikala? Seems like her screen is frozen. We'll wait for it to come back on, and I'll send her a text and let her know. But right now, we can see her. We can
Mhm.
see her camera,
Right.
and we're just working with technology right now. But it should all come on good because the internet in Rwanda is pretty good, so it shouldn't be a problem. She just went off. She's gonna come back on. You all should be very excited to uh, hear the sister's story. It's going to be a great inspiration for a lot of folks because a lot of folks say, "Man, I want to, spread my wings and see other countries and even live in other countries, and I don't know when I'm going to do it."
Right.
Um,
Mhm.
and you just
And
got to have
where's
to
she
make
from?
it
Where's she
happen.
from again, Brother Hero?
So, from what I know, is that the sister was based in Houston, Texas.
All right.
And then she moved to Belize some years ago, maybe a decade ago. And then within the last year or two, she's moved to Rwanda, East Africa, and she lives
Oh,
there now.
okay.
And so she's going to share her experience of moving and living in Africa permanently. So she's not in Africa as a visitor, she's living in Africa permanently.
Right.
And um, she's making some great connections. She's doing
Mm-hmm.
some great work. And here she is, live and direct. Now we see you. You're moving. Sister Nikala,
Thank you. Thank you so much.
bless
Greetings.
up. I've given a soft introduction to you.
Yes.
You're on with Brother Anthony Muhammad, the founder of Sankofa Revolutionary Radio.
Greetings, sister. How are you?
Greetings. I'm doing wonderful. I'm so happy to be here with you all. I am in Rwanda in East Africa. So let me know if there are ever any connection problems with hearing me, and I'll switch to a different connection.
Yep,
Yes.
no problem. We can hear you just fine. We can see you just fine. Beautiful. I know right now in Rwanda it's probably around 4 p.m. or 5 p.m.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're happy to have you here, And, I've always told people Rwanda's like home to me. Having lived there, my son gone to school there, and it's one of my favorite places on earth. So what we want to do, sis, is we want to talk about your journey. We want to talk about the businesses that you have, economics around living in different parts of the world, what you've been able to do for yourself to have choices, to be able to live where you want, travel where you want, and have that flexibility in how you planned your life to be able to do that outside of America. Because a lot of people think that, America is the only game in town.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, they don't spread their wings and see the rest of the world and really understand that if you're someone from the planet Earth, you should at least see the Earth, right? So,
Yes.
right. So let's get into your story. Why don't we get into your bio real quick? You don't have to. Let's do it this way. Let's talk about where you are now, what businesses you own right now, and then let's talk about your past in terms of how you got there. Okay, so right now, Nikala Asante, what's Nikala Asante sitting on right now? What you got going on right now?
Yeah, that is a great question. So, definitely the main thing that I have going on right now, we are coming into year 7 with Whole Living Academy. which is a Pan-African online homeschool. I'm an educator. I've been an educator. I also write educational textbooks and workbooks as well. Curriculum designer for coming up on almost 20 years now. And so we have a program for kindergarten through 12th grade. We serve children all over the African diaspora in small group classes, offering academics as well as culture, technology training, emotional awareness, holistic health, mindfulness, African martial arts, finance, entrepreneurship, all the good stuff. So that's the main thing, so to say. And
Good
that
stuff.
is on a US schedule. We start around this time in the mornings on the US schedule, which, as you mentioned, now that I have relocated to East Africa, this is the afternoon, which gives me like a whole extra day in the mornings while everyone is sleeping.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And
It's absolutely just to tell you, like I love when I was living in Rwanda, in East Africa, because literally what you said is true. So, for instance, I do trading, right? And so, like
yeah,
the markets open at 9 o'clock, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but
yeah,
that time in Rwanda is 4 o'clock, 4:30. So I'm able to do whatever I need to do during the day, and then I can just get into the markets at 4:30 p.m.
Right.
So it's a
yeah.
beautiful thing.
Yep.
Like I love that
It
time
really
difference.
is. It's like the perfect time difference. I know depending on where you've moved yourself in the world, like if you move to Thailand from Central Standard Time Zone, it's like a 24-hour time difference. The whole day is just flipped upside down. But if you do decide to move here to Rwanda, you get that perfect extra 7, 8 hours before everybody wakes up to
Hmm.
get a jump start on the day. So
Yep.
during that time period, we started a tech company here in Rwanda, Asante Global Solutions. So we focus on creating solutions with technology, Web 2, Web 3, AI solutions for health tech, fintech, ed tech. And so those have been creative efforts, another form of art, so to say, but art that is able to affect the community in some way. So we've built applications, to help with getting donations to nonprofits, on the continent, maternal health applications, to help Black and brown mamas, even back in the United States. We've built so many wonderful things. I know blackhistory.com, to be able to engage with our history from ancient times, all the way to today, which is a totally free site, panafricanpolyglot.com. So many great technologies to engage with, across that spectrum of ed tech, health tech, and fintech. And, we create these ideas like within our team, we self fund, and we put things out there, into the world and then just focus on, marketing it to benefit our people. Aside from that, I do have a real estate investment company that's based out of the US, Legacy Landowners. So I buy and sell rural residential land. A lot of our land right now is in Arkansas, for example, where they still have like the lakes you can swim in and you can
Right.
fish and you can still walk around and be around nature and immersed within that. And unfortunately, over time, those places are less available in the United States. In Houston, for example, you cannot swim in the bayou in Houston. Your skin will fall off,
Mm.
so it's great to still have places in the world where you can still be able to really enjoy nature. Am I frozen, guys?
No,
No,
you
you're
good.
good. You're good. You're good. It
Okay,
was frozen.
wonderful.
It was
Yes.
frozen
So,
earlier.
oh, okay, okay. And I'll try to switch back to the satellite here in a second. I think it was out for a bit.
No, you're good now. You're
I'll
actually
try to.
good. You're good. Leave it where you got it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Don't touch it.
Yeah, don't touch it. You're good.
Yes. Yes. So, most of the land that I've purchased, like I said, is in Arkansas, where you can still enjoy nature, enjoy waterfalls, enjoy walking trails, and so on. And so I have, spent years finding ways to be able to buy land at a lower price and I sell it at a small profit, so that our community can also be able to purchase it at a lower price as well. So those are the main things, that I engage myself in, and I'm also a holistic practitioner. That's not something that I'm doing for, money at this stage in my life. It's just something that I offer to the community to the capacity that I can. Um, if we kind of zoom, you said you were going to talk about the past after this. So
Mm-hmm.
you can ask that question and I can kind of segue,
Mm-hmm.
back into holistic health and of course, like your wonderful products that you have that have been helping my community so much.
Yeah, yeah, we can get into that. So what I want to do is just make sure that people know like what time it is because I want people to get familiar with you and what you got going on because I really do see you as a great example for our people. Because people, like I said, people are always coming to me, Nikala, because I travel a lot, and people say, "Man, how's life like in this place? How's life like in this place?" And when are you going to be there so I can come and visit? And so I spend a lot of time telling people about living internationally and particularly living on the continent and what type of opportunities are on the continent. And so when I see somebody like you actually walking that walk as well, I want to make sure that the whole world knows about you, or at least my listening audience knows about you and what you've been able to do. Because a lot of people are on some, I'm trying to do this when
Right.
you're actually doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, her screen just came off just
Mm-hmm.
now. She'll be right back on with us, y'all. She has tapped right back in, and let me get her back onto the stage. So yeah, Nikala, she'll be getting right back on, y'all. As you can see, she's having a little internet issue here and there, but we're gonna get more into her story, and then we're gonna get into a blueprint of how you all can do what Nikala has done, so that you can avail yourself of the beauties of the planet Earth and the beauties of living on the continent and giving a real life education to your children, man. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if you got children, the best thing that you can do is travel with your children so that they
Mm-hmm.
can learn different languages, different cultures, different history, learning that the world is not about what's in their like 1 mile radius. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like the world is a big place, and
Yes.
you need to learn like what's going on. And what happens for particularly a lot of people in America is that you get a sense that America is the only game in town, and
Mm-hmm.
that you develop what I call a solipsistic worldview, where you think that the sun is you are the sun, and the world revolves around you. The universe revolves around you, and that happens for a lot of people in America. I think that's because of the whole narrative about American exceptionalism, and people have bought into it. And then the America being a world power and what have you. But you got to understand that once you leave America, first of all, you don't even realize how much weight has been on you,
Right.
right? And how much stress you're carrying. You don't even realize it until you leave the country. And for those of you who haven't left the country, you don't know what I'm talking about. But those of you who have left the country, you know exactly what I'm talking about because you feel that weight come right back on you when you have to go back through immigration and customs. You feel it. You feel the weight come right back on you. And
Yeah.
so what I want to do is let's talk about your journey. But before we do that, let's just go over your websites again. You have the educational website. Can you tell us the website name again?
Yeah, so for those of you who are looking to homeschool, wholelivingacademy.com. We
Mm-hmm.
have our live classes that we offer 5 days a week. For those of you who would like to homeschool, but maybe you would like to administer it yourself, we have created a free curriculum, the first global free Pan-African curriculum. We spent over $50,000 making this curriculum, so use it. Use it. It's
Now,
panafricancurriculum.com.
so what's the
Totally
name of the
free.
academy, sister?
And
What's the name of that academy again? What your website? What's the name?
Whole
Whole
Living
Living
Academy.
Academy. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm about to share it
Yes,
Okay,
for
good,
people
good.
to see, to show that we're real serious about this
yes,
thing. All right. This is not an
yes,
Whole
yes,
idea. This is not an idea. This is not like, hey, I should do this and we need this. And we know it's done, y'all.
right.
It's done. Sister Nikala has
right. We
come
need
here
the
to
African
deliver.
Center School.
Yes,
Yes,
it's done. It's done.
Results is what we call that.
Okay.
Results.
Yeah, results. And so here's the website we see right here, right? New to homeschooling, let us help. And she has all the navigations for the programs, the different programs, which is live classes overview, self-paced courses, college preparation, summer 2026 for summer program. And then all the different educators that they have is on there as well. She has our educators. It talks about, what they're dedicated to. Of course, that's Nikala right there. You have Sister Swatara. You have a brother named Sentwali. We have a sister Akila Nahanda, right? We have Jamaiman Bandele. We have
yes,
Sewa Sydney Duran. We've got Adeniki Parker. We've got people, who's teaching
yes.
what needs to be taught. And I'm actually going to interface with you probably another week, sis. I got something up my sleeve that I think that we could work together on that I think is going to be very, very powerful around engineering. But it's
Yes,
gonna you're gonna be very excited to hear what I got up my sleeve. But I think we could do a lot of work together on this. But it's Whole Living
yes,
Academy, and people can get on for tutoring. You can get on for homeschooling, and so don't say that we don't have our own schools. We don't have our own ways to educate our children because Sister Nikala has solved that problem. I am sure that Sister Nikala has spent time, just like many of us, when we were younger, talking about our problems and what we need as a people. And at some point, you get tired of talking about what we need and you're just going to provide it, right? So there's a time where
yes,
Brother Anthony sat down and had conversations about we need our own media. We need our own platforms to get our news out, to get our stories out. And so Brother Anthony put together Sankofa Revolutionary Radio. It's been going strong for over a decade. Sister Nikala's probably sat down with a lot of activist people, a lot of Pan-Africanist, Black nationalist folks, a lot of conscious people in the conversation.
yes.
We need our own schools. We need to teach ourselves, our
Right.
children. But nobody's actually picking it up to actually make it happen until you decide that, you know what, that we need is going to turn into I need. And I'm going to take responsibility to build it myself. As Marcus Garvey, he said that I looked around me and I didn't see, Black folks being movers and shakers, right? So I decided that I was going to create my own movers and shakers, essentially. He called men of high affairs. He said I would create my own, men and women of high affairs, and that's what he sought out to do. So the age of complaining, in the age of being a victim, in the age of boo-hoo, woe is me, that's over. We're into solving our problems, and that's why we have wealth results and health results. We're here to show you people who've actually worked and are working from more than just an inchoate idea stage to actually something kinetic that's moving. How many students have you had? Well, let's talk about the Whole Living Academy. How long has this website been together?
Yeah, so we have been active as a team, as an organization, coming into 7 years now. Myself, I've been on this journey of teaching the students, for closer to 20 years now. But at a certain point, you have to make things replicable. You have to make things larger than yourself. It can't be about, you and your personality and what you're able to do or what you're able to offer, what you're able to teach. But what can we accomplish together? Because anything that we build, ideally, it needs to be able to outlive us, right?
Right.
So when I shifted from, teaching students in groups and, one-on-one on my own to establishing Whole Living Academy, that was me recognizing this thing is important and it needs to be bigger than me. So we've had over 10 graduates at this point. They've all been wonderfully successful in the next stages that they have pursued, in their lives. Right now, we have, I would say, about 70 or so students, that we work with, in very small groups.
Wow.
And we also support student groups, here on the continent, like in Rwanda and Congo, within their spaces with curriculum and resources. A group of 42 children with the NASA Community Initiative, Rwanda, with their educational goals. And we work with Invisible Kids Academy based out of Goma, Congo, to support with their initiatives so that their students, are able to continue, to grow within their goals.
Hmm.
So yes, that's what we do on the educational side. And
Amen.
we've had a lot of success with that with our students. And so we're just very grateful, and honored to continue to be able to serve in that capacity.
Well, thank you
Excellent.
for your kazi, sister, to the African community. That's good work.
Thank you. Thank you for,
Yeah.
allowing me to come and share. Like when you do this work, a lot of times you're just like inside of a little bubble with your head down and chopping wood and carrying water. And so,
No, no, no.
when you're
We
in it,
can. No, this is important, and feel free to become a regular on the show. You can,
okay?
come in once a month or whatever, and just chop it up and talk about what you're doing because I want to make sure that people know who you are and what you're doing, and that like we're not alone. Like there's a lot of us doing this type of work, and there's a lot of us. Whenever I travel to Africa, I meet brothers and sisters from the diaspora who are doing amazing work, and
Yeah,
have solved their economic problems and are living literally their best lives on the continent. And so, they're not worried about the stress that comes with living in a predominantly foreigner country, in terms of people who don't match us culturally or even phenotypically or historically. And so we found a way to tap back into our roots and be into a place that actually needs our input, right? What people don't understand and what you can share is that when you're in Africa and you actually are putting in that work for the people, the amount of love that you get is incredible.
Hmm.
Like the amount of love
yeah,
that I get on the continent is unmatched. I feel like I'm Patti LaBelle at the Apollo. You understand what I'm saying? That's
yeah,
it's a different type of love. It's a different type
yeah,
of love. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So I need
yes,
people to understand that. Like you've never experienced love until like people love you on the continent. We're
Right.
talking about a continent, and where you go, people know that you actually putting in work for the people, and you have peace of mind, and you're not worried about police, and you're not worried about all the different microaggressions that happen in the States. Because I've lived in America, I've lived in the Caribbean, I've lived in Africa, and I'm just telling you, I mean, Jamaica is a beautiful place and a great place to live. Jamaica is a magical place, but outside of Jamaica, when you go on the continent, man, it's like there's so many opportunities because there's so many gaps in terms of problem solving, that if you're a problem solver, not only will people love you for solving the problems, but people will pay you to solve the problems, and you can make a considerable income and nest egg if you just do it right.
Yeah. Hey, brother Heru,
yes. That
I
is
would like to
absolutely.
know. Yeah, she's got it. Okay, go ahead, sister.
Oh, no, no, no. I'm listening. I was just checking to make sure the internet is plugged up so we can stay connected.
No,
Right.
you're good. You're good.
Yes, I'm
Hey,
listening.
speaking of connection, though, I would like to know when it came down to making that move from the West to the continent, how did you make that decision and how on your destination in that move to Africa?
Right. And so now that's a great question. So now we're
Yeah,
gonna segue. We're gonna segue to your past, right? Because you coming from Texas, right? Houston.
right.
All right. Let's talk about how does a
Yes.
sister from Houston end up in Rwanda? Let's talk about your path and your journey.
So to answer that question, I would have to first say I'm not really from Houston. I'm from the Metro Houston area.
Okay.
I'm actually from a freedmen's town called Tamina, right
Okay.
outside of Houston.
Ah.
that was built by my ancestors immediately after emancipation. So the same land that I grew up on was the same land that my ancestors were enslaved on,
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
right? So that really changes the dynamics, when you're growing up, versus, growing up within the city. And can you all hear me okay?
You're
Yes.
loud and clear.
Or am I frozen?
No, you're good.
Okay. Very good. So, growing up in a freedman's town, we had dirt roads, banana trees, nectarines, plums, blackberries, honeysuckle plants, racism,
Right. Right.
chickens,
Right.
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 cows,
Right.
like it was everything. So, we did deal with that divide of like literally right across the tracks were the descendants of those who enslaved us and all of the frictions that come along with that. But growing up in a freedman's town was very similar to growing up in the Caribbean or growing up even here in Niamata, Rwanda. So it didn't feel like a huge leap for me when I started traveling to be able to connect with the nature, the environment in those other locations because it was so similar in vibe to where I grew up before the wrath of gentrification and so on really changed the dynamics of my hometown and even, the appearance of it. So for me, my first time moving out of the country was moving to Belize back in 2016. And at that point, I had been traveling extensively for about 5 years. I had been going to Ghana in West Africa to go and study and teach with the University of Houston. In my educational experience, I was always a scholar. So I received scholarships, to go and study French in France, with the Gilman Scholarship. And I was able to use that to come back and start organizing against sweatshops in Dominican Republic and Haiti. I already spoke Spanish, at that point, just from growing up in Texas. Texas is, just like an extension of Mexico, pretty much. So I was able to start, doing those human rights expeditions when I was in undergrad and, use the university as, leverage to get funding for those things, which is a great pointer for those of you who may be in universities now. The university is not going to give you this information. They're not going to tell you
That's right.
that, if you go to the study abroad department, for example, you go talk to your advisor about the funding that you're able to access to be able to go and study or volunteer in other countries, that money is there. So, please access it. Brother Haru, because, as a poet, I know that, you used to travel and access the university funding to be able to go and share your spoken word at different universities. So, please, brothers and sisters, leverage that university funding to be able to connect and help our people, work in solidarity. That segued because at that point, back in 2009 was when I first got my holistic health certifications. So I still had, that knowledge coming into my experience with traveling, to other countries. Because of that, I actually got offered an opportunity by the University of Houston to participate in a medical service trip to Haiti. And I would come in as a creative writer and a holistic health practitioner, whereas all of the other students were pre-med. Now, even though I was not pre-med, I have studied allopathic medicine extensively. So after that first trip, because of the events that took place and how passionate that I was about, assisting the people, how knowledgeable that I was able to, be based on, the studies within the African holistic health community, by Dr. Akua, Dr. Africa, and so on. Along with those allopathic studies, the university did request that I start leading the medical service trips to IET. And so that took me out of the country extensively. I did
Okay.
7 trips
Great.
to IET where, we were bringing in doctors and nurses setting up pop-up clinics, working with 1,500 to 3,000 patients at a time. A lot of crazy stories I can tell you another time.
Oh yeah, yeah. We can have a
Malnutrition.
whole show. We can have a whole show about Haiti. I can tell you about my time in Haiti, also known as Haiti, which is the proper pronunciation, but some people don't know. So I'm just gonna say Haiti. But I flew to Haiti in 2010 and spent some time there, like a few months, and I spent time in northern Haiti. Where the Citadel is, which is a town called Milo. I could talk all about that. I went to Bois-Caiman, all of that. So yeah, we could have a special show just on Haiti because I love Haiti.
Yes,
Haiti is a magical place as well, and I actually
it is
recommend
such
that
a
all of our people go to Haiti, like as a pilgrimage, because of the history of
yes,
Haiti. It's very important.
Right.
yes, it's so important. And so when you go there, it's kind of like Brother Haru said, you get kind of pulled into a rhythm of everything that's happening. And when he said it's a magical place, it really is. It really is. And when you go there, like on a human rights vibe, you just get pulled in so many beautiful directions within the ways that you can serve the community. So we planted so many trees, so many fruit trees, so many moringa trees. My son came with me on a lot of those trips. He was very young at the time, like, 9 through 13, 14 years old, during that time period. And we were able to serve in so many ways, water distribution, water filtration, planting gardens at orphanages, and then, of course, bringing in the doctors and nurses as well. And that segued with the work that we were still doing in the Houston community, along with, on the island of Hispaniola, to me being requested to come and work with the Garifuna people of Belize. And there's a sister, Dr. Arzu Mountain Spirit, down in Saint Bite. And, she contacted me and she asked if I could come to assist with the project to fight gentrification against, the foreigners that were coming in and building these resorts down in like the Placencia, Saint Bite area and driving up the prices on all of the commodities, making it more difficult for people to support themselves. So we organized around basically creating a market space as well as entrepreneurship training for the community so that they were able to better leverage the tourism that's coming in instead of being kind of trapped under the weight of it. That was my first time going to Belize. And I had dreams while I was there that were like, no, this is where you need to be. This is where you and your son need to be at this time. And I ended up, packing up my stuff, a few months later and moving to Belize. And we stayed there from 2016 all the way through 2022. When I was giving birth to my daughter, we came back to the States for a bit. And, during that time period, I had to really ask myself, what's next? We've been able to, do so much beautiful work in Belize. I was also volunteering with the holistic clinic there in San Ignacio, Belize during that time period with Dr. Eunice Clark. And, so we were able to, serve the community in many capacities while there. We had a beautiful experience, great place to be, San Ignacio, Belize. But with having a new baby, I'm like, okay, we need to be around like something that's like Belize, but I want to be around more like Black American people too, and have that community so that she doesn't become disconnected, from the Black American community entirely. We didn't have as many people from, the Black American community in San Ignacio, Belize. There were some, but I would say that in that area, a lot of the people who moved there are more so wanting to live kind of private lives versus like, let's come together as a community, do community things, build
Mhm.
community things. which is what I've experienced here in Rwanda. In Rwanda, Sister Autumn started the Black Spats group, where all of the Black repatriates that are here get together once a month. We're doing projects together. We're supporting local NGOs together. We're supporting each other's businesses. It's a very beautiful and close-knit community. Now, even though, I've heard some wonderful things about Rwanda from even Brother Heru. He came to Rwanda some time ago, I think more than 6 years ago, at this point when he first moved here to East Africa. I was like, wow, this is 8,000 miles away. That's so far. That's, when you're in Central America, like Mexico, Dominican Republic, Belize is like a 2-hour, right, $200 flight. And then you're right back at home. Somebody calls you, they say, oh, I got a headache. All right, I'm on my way.
So people in the United States.
Right, exactly. Right. You got your people. Everybody got their people. Right. Their family, their loved ones that they want to get back to access. And Central America is great for that. You can just hop on a plane and you're there even the same day in 2 hours, right?
It's actually true. And I was actually shocked how short of my trip from Miami to El Salvador was. It's like an hour and a half trip. Right. Like hour and a half flight, and I'm in El Salvador, just like that. One way was $180. Right. El Salvador from Miami. And even Haiti, like people don't understand, from Miami to Port-au-Prince was like a 45-minute flight. It was like an hour flight. Like it's not even an hour, like you're in Haiti from Miami in a snap. And so people don't realize how close these places are because people don't travel. So you think it's so far away, but Rwanda is far away. It's about a 20-hour flight.
It is far.
In terms of switching planes and what have you. I think there's some conversations about direct flights from Rwanda to Washington, D.C. These days, but it's a long flight, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. Let's talk about Rwanda real quick. Let's talk about Africa, right? Let's get into that real quick because a lot of people don't know. Like when I landed in Rwanda, I landed my first time to Rwanda when I landed, and the reason why I chose Rwanda was because I started looking online after I was hit by these 2 Category 5 hurricanes in 2017, Irma and Maria. And what happened was that I said I can't live in the Caribbean during hurricane season anymore. So I'm going to go to Africa during hurricane season because at the time I was living in the Caribbean. I was living in the Virgin Islands. And so I just went online and started looking for I literally typed in best countries to live in Africa just to see what they were going to say online. Yes. Right? And I keep hearing Kigali, Rwanda. I'm like, Rwanda? Didn't they have a genocide? That's all I had remembered. I thought it was like chaotic there. I thought it was chaos.
Yes.
And I'm seeing cleanest city in the world, cleanest city in Africa. And I'm starting to see how they're operating there. And I'm saying, you know what? I need to go there to just study. I need to go there to study, to see how they were able to rise from the ashes. From a legal point of view, from an economic point of view, I wanted to go look at their laws. I wanted to look at how they do their infrastructure, their civil engineering projects, how they run their government, everything. Because I thought there's something that we could learn from here, right? That you've got people who basically were on some Crips and Bloods thing to the extreme, killed themselves, and then were able to rise up and operate as a functioning country where it's more operational than most countries I've been in, right? And then when you go there, how modern the place looks, how clean everything is a real inspiration, right? So like once I saw this, I said, wow, Africa can do nothing but rise. And Africa is actually the best investment that you could make. Is like you are investing in Amazon in 1999. Right? Because you're catching it on its rise. You're catching it from the place where it is to where it's going to go. This is how you invest. You buy low, sell high. Mm-hmm. So when I got to Rwanda, I was just amazed at what I was seeing, the beauty of the place. Like the place is absolutely beautiful in terms of the natural beauty, the topography of the place, the hills, the green. It's the greenest place I've been is Rwanda. Like it's just green. is it's lush and green, and
Yes.
then the infrastructure and the rules that they have, and so can you just talk about your first time, because I know you saw a lot of my posts about Rwanda, and I guess you're like, that's interesting, right? And then you got a friend who moved to Rwanda, and then you actually end up going to Rwanda. So let's just talk about your first impression of Rwanda when you got there.
Yes. So me coming here was very influenced by my friends, the Olushalas, who you saw on the Whole Living Academy website, Swatara and Sentwali Olushala. They came here from Tanzania.
There's a light
And
that you had. There was a light that you had on your face that was showing you real good. I don't know. It just went off.
yes, the power went out.
Oh, okay. No, but you're good now. You got that
Yes.
sunlight.
Yes, get this sunlight. There's always sunlight, guys.
Okay.
So
There we go.
sometimes the power does go out, but that's a-okay.
Yeah,
So
and it's
yes,
actually kind of rare in Kigali. The power usually is pretty
yes,
stable in Rwanda. But yeah, go ahead, sis.
yes. The power is not too bad, but every now and then you do have those power outages as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, my friends, the Olushalas, they actually moved to Tanzania back in 2020, and they had a difficult experience there with corruption, with their passports being taken, to request a bribe. So there were a lot of challenges that they experienced with trying to build family space and also build business in Tanzania. Now, Tanzania can be a very beautiful, wonderful place to live. But when navigating things as far as, building something, navigating, building businesses there can be some challenges. And they had to end up leaving Tanzania once they were able to involve the U.S. Embassy to get their passports back. And they went to Rwanda at the time, and everything was just smooth sailing. Everything was beautiful. They were able to get their business off the ground in Rwanda very quickly, get a farm established very quickly, be able to establish a brokerage firm to help people who wanted to buy land here. Everything was just, like the Midas touch. Everything you touch in Rwanda was just turned into gold, 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 gold.
Right.
And as they're relaying this information to me, I'm like, y'all doing so many wonderful things, so quickly. And I realized, like, okay, this is the life that I want to live too. I'm back in Houston and I'm hearing police sirens and ambulances
Right.
day and night, and they're telling me, they're like, oh yeah, we just harvested, avocados and mangoes and okra. And I'm like, what am I doing? Here I am. I'm the founder of Whole Living Academy, Whole
Right.
Living, holistic.
Right.
I want to harvest mangoes. I
Of
want to
course.
harvest avocados.
Of course. Yeah, man, top the things, exactly. It's like I want to be living whole too.
Right. I don't just want to teach it. I want to
Right.
get back to living it,
Right.
So I made the decision that I was going to come and try Rhonda for 6 months and see how it went. That was almost 14 months ago at this point that I said I was going to come and try it out for 6 months. And, I was fortunate to have friends here. So they were able to, find this house for me and set things up for me before coming here. But for any of you who are watching now you have me as a friend too. So
Right.
you can always just reach out, and we can also help you to be able to make that transition if that's something that you're looking for. Now, I do not.
Talk about the house you're living in and how much you're paying for
Yes,
rent.
yes,
Let's talk about that.
I don't know if I want to say that.
No, but a deal's a deal. Like you got
Yes,
a great deal.
so
Like
true.
the reality is
Absolutely.
the reality.
Absolutely.
And it helps
And I
you. It
can
helps
actually
you as
give
an
you
entrepreneur.
kind
It
of a
helps you as
mini
an
house
entrepreneur
tour.
to have to have low operating expenses and low living expenses.
So you all can see the house here, in the background, right? You can see the living room may be similar to your living room, even back in the States. You know, you have the smart TV, you have your couches and all of that. Now, what I can say is that in many cases, most of the places are already furnished when you rent them in Rwanda. So all of this furniture was already here when we moved in, all of the dishes, everything that was all already here when we moved in. We did not have to purchase,
Right.
almost anything additional when we came, except for just setting up our internet service. I have Starlink internet, which is $40 a month. But outside of that, it was an easy transition. The place that I have is 7 bedrooms and it's $343 a month US.
Okay, let's say that
And I
again.
usually pay 3 months at a time.
Right. So this is what I
Yes.
want people to understand. She's living in a 7-bedroom mansion because that's what it is. It's a mansion. No, I mean this is just the reality of the situation.
Yes.
It's a 7. She's being humble, but
Yes.
this is what it is. Anytime you got 7 bedrooms, if it's not a youth hostel, it's a mansion, right? So
No, it's not
she's got
a cost.
she's got a 7. She lives in a 7-bedroom mansion in probably the safest country in the world. And
Yes.
she's paying $340 a month. You see, so
Yes.
this is what I'm trying to tell you all is like, you're gonna start like doing numbers. Like when I talk to people, there's a lot of words that like people like to have back and forth. When you start talking numbers, people get really quiet. And so what she's saying is that she has set herself up to make money internationally with her online businesses, right? So you're making money online, so it doesn't really matter where you live. The next question you want to ask yourself is, I'm making money. How do I keep most of my money? Right?
Yes.
Because it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. Right? So I want to
Yes.
keep most of my money, and I could live in Houston and pay $2,000 a month for rent or $3,000 a month for mortgage, which is 10 times more than what you're paying. Or I could go live in Rwanda, have peace of mind, have cultural affinity, have my children raised in an environment where I know that there's actually a value for children, right? Because in Rwanda, the way they treat children, they give a priority to children in Rwanda. It's a whole different thing.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. With having a toddler, our daughter is 3 years old. And, she's at that stage of learning to read, learning different types of math, learning languages, learning music, and so on. And we did start, a small in-person homeschool here at my house
Mhm.
where the small children come over and learn in 3 languages every day.
See, this
And
is
that
this
is
is what I'm
very
talking about.
manageable financially. For the teacher, it's maybe less than $200 a month,
Right,
to pay even more than, what would be the standard, for
right.
someone to come in and teach part-time, right?
And what
That would
languages are they learning in?
English, Kiswahili, and Kinyarwanda.
Yes. You see, so this will be
Yes.
something that will stick with your child for the rest of your child's life. They'll be able, because of this opportunity that you gave them, they're not only speak English, they'll be able to speak Kiswahili, which is like, to be able to speak Kiswahili in East Africa, you're talking about at least being able to speak to over 100 million people, right? And
Yes.
then Kinyarwanda, which is the language of Rwanda, she's learning that. And so no matter where she'll be 20 years old, no matter where she is in the world, she'll always feel at home in Rwanda, in East Africa, because she actually speaks the indigenous language, which her mother gifted her. This is what people need to understand. You're gifting your child this experience, and you're saving money while doing it. This is the other
Yes.
side of it. You could have decided just live in Houston and deal with what you're dealing with in America, but you decided you're going to move to Africa, pay less money, keep more money for yourself so you can reinvest it in other things, but also bring real value to your child's life, which is all you ever want as a parent.
Absolutely. And it makes a big difference, in balancing parenting with community building and entrepreneurship because we do have home assistants. And, our home assistants that we have, The sisters who work with us here are very much family to us. The young sisters are, like my nieces or my daughters. And, we all do everything together and, celebrate birthdays together. Like, if they have an emergency, it's my emergency too. Right. And with that, I do have full-time help, as
Right.
well. And my
Right. So
main
you're able to get a babysitter,
uh,
you have a house cleaner, and
well,
all of
she's
those
more
types of
than a
things.
babysitter. She's so much more than a babysitter. I mean, she really
She's like an
considers
aunt, right? She's like
Daria
an
to
aunt.
be like her sister because
Right.
she's the same age as my son, you
Okay.
know? So she's much more than a babysitter. Like she really
Part of the
loves
family.
Daria sincerely,
Yep.
and values her safety, her health,
Right.
everything at the same level that we do as a family. So, you can, if you come into communities with the right mindset, the right heart set, the right attitude, you will attract people that will become an extension of your family.
And
Like
that's
literally
real.
an extension of your family,
That's
right?
real. And a lot of people
Yeah.
don't understand that. Like when you go to Africa and you make friends in Africa, like authentic friendships in Africa, these are friendships forever, for the rest of your life.
Yes.
And what it means also is that it becomes multi-generational. And what I mean by that, like I have people who I forged relationships with on the continent that my child will be able to, anytime my child is in that country, even if I'm not there, they have a place to stay.
Yes.
Right? Because we
Yes.
have those types of relationships where it's like a real brotherhood and a sisterhood, is real family that we've developed these relationships with each other, and the relationships can be very strong. That doesn't mean that like you can go to Africa and everybody is going to be, trying to be your friend with great intentions.
No, no, it's not
there's a
everybody.
yeah, we're just giving you the realistic picture of what it is, because a lot of times when you're coming with an American accent, or sometimes people see you as an opportunity to make money because people don't have so much entrepreneurship going on where people can, get jobs. So everyone kind of has to hustle, right? And so sometimes if
Yes.
you're coming from the West, people will befriend you for the hustle. I mean, it happens in America as well too. But the point is,
Yeah.
is that there's this opportunity, there's a window to make some really great human relationships. And once you make these human relationships, they're on a whole different level. You literally can have your child 10 years later call uncle so and so or auntie so and so, and they're at the
Yes.
airport, and they're gonna, your child is at the airport, and those people will pick up your child, house your child, feed your child. They're not looking for anything in return because it's just the family vibes.
Right, absolutely. And so, I mean, you just have to use your spirit of discernment. And, if you want to make friends, you have to be friendly. When you come into a space, if you come in with this entitled attitude, like it's an hour already, why is my food not coming out? Like, why are they taking so long for the car to come? And here, carry my bags. If you're coming in with that, colonial attitude, and you want to recreate the hurt that maybe you've received in oppressive environments in other countries, then you're going to have experiences where you have maybe more people that try to take advantage of you, more challenging experiences, because that's what you're attracting. But if you come in and you really show love, you're not going to attract as many of those people. As some people might still try you, but the people around you who really got your back, you won't even too much have to deal with the people that
Right.
wanted to try you, because the people around you would
Right.
deal with it for you. Right. So, definitely, you can make some great, human connections when you're here. Beautiful community, very accessible, fresh, organic food. We were actually gifted a farm, upon coming here and doing programming with the children in the community. One of the government officials actually, gifted us a farm for 3 years, like on paper, signed and
Yep.
notarized. This farm is free for you to use for whatever you like, for this 3 years. It's a pretty large farm. And so we're establishing a community garden and community herbal garden, within that space. So we've just been having a great experience, being here in Rwanda. And as I mentioned, part of that has been starting the
Okay, she froze up a little bit, but this is this is very accurate because the opportunities that I receive when I'm in Rwanda is, I mean, just falling in my lap, right? So she said she was gifted a farm. This is what happens. Actually, the government policy there is that if you do have a program or some type of initiative to do any type of farming to feed people in the country as a business, the government will give you land. They'll lease you land. So now your operational costs have gone down very, very low in terms of being able to do business because now you don't have to do a capital expenditure to buy land because the government will give you the land. They'll give you land if you're going to do, even if you're going to do like a what they call affordable housing type of construction. The government will connect you to the water system for free in Rwanda. Like,
Yes,
like they're really serious about developing the country and they're really serious. And then also like buying land, you avoid any type of fraud because to buy land, you physically have to show up at the land office with the buyer and the seller and your ID and they confirm who you are. I don't know why they don't do this in every country, but Rwanda has certain things figured out. You know what I'm saying? So I love being in Rwanda just for the ease of doing business. And when she talked about doing business for you all, just to give you all comparisons, in Ghana, it took me 7 months to get a business license. In the Virgin Islands, it took me 8 months to get a business license. In Rwanda, it took me 8 hours to get a business license. Hours. Like
yes,
from when you land and you have a Rwanda phone number, you can go online to the Rwanda Business Development website and you can literally register your company for free. And you get your registration within 8 to
yes.
24 hours. You get that piece of paper or that, file, and you can take it to the bank and open up a bank account and start doing business. It's that easy.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And so it was just that easy to start a business here. We recently filed our first tax declaration, which paying the accountant for that costs less than $50,
Right.
to assist with the tax filing, right? So it definitely does give you a lot more flexibility in terms of entrepreneurship. Now, what I would say is don't come here to become an entrepreneur without any plan if you're not already an entrepreneur.
Right.
If you're already an entrepreneur, then you probably have some consistency with your cash flow. But sometimes things can kind of dip. Sometimes things can hit a little mountain. And that can work out for you because you can pay your rent 3 months, 6 months in advance and be able
Mm-hmm.
to navigate those ebbs and flows a little bit better
Absolutely.
if you kind of
Absolutely.
already know what to expect, right?
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
if you've never had a business, go
Yeah, here's
ahead.
what I want to do. There's a sister I would love for you to meet if she wants to tap in. Kai Wilson. Kai Wilson's listening. She's tuned in. Kai, if you want to tap in and have a live conversation, because she's got some questions here, and I want to answer her questions. It would be great if she just came on
Yeah.
live and asked those questions. And Kai and Nikala, you are, to me, you all are sisters who are movers and shakers. And I think you all should meet each
Yeah.
other. So, Kai Wilson, if you want to tap in, it's on the Facebook pinned the link to StreamYard. Come in and meet Nikala so you two sisters can chop it up because this is what this show is all about, is to expose people to people who's really moving and shaking and how we can leverage each other to build up what we're doing. Because any question that you might have that I can't answer, Nikala could certainly answer when it comes to Rwanda and, moving around and navigating. I haven't been in Rwanda for about a year. The last time I was there for several months. My son was in school there. And I just love being in Rwanda. I feel like a superhero when I'm in Rwanda. That's the type of energy.
Yes.
That's the type of energy I feel when I'm there. So yeah,
Yes.
let me see if Kai wants to just tap in. You can just click the link, Kai, in the chat. I have the StreamYard link. It's a pinned comment by me. Just look in the Facebook chat, Kai, and you can click that StreamYard link to call in. You can ask these questions because you're asking some great questions, Kai. And I think you and Nikala should meet definitely because I see you all as kindred spirits and sisters who's about that life, about getting things moving in motion. And so um,
Yes.
Kai has entered the studio. She has entered the stage, and here she is, Kai Wilson. The powerful Kai Wilson has joined us.
Hey,
Hey,
Sister
hey,
Kai.
how are you guys?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are
Hello.
you?
I'm fine. You look so beautiful. You do not look
Thank
US stressed.
you. Thank you.
Absolutely. I mean, the US has a particular type of look on a black person, and you don't have that.
It
So
wears on
beautiful.
you. Thank you so
Yeah, I just have
much.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Haru, I think you should do two developments too. I just put that in the notes. I think you should do Ghana and Rwanda, but I'm going to wait for your Ghana development. I'm definitely going to be interested in that.
Oh,
But
definitely, and you're right on point because I am. I'm going to be doing Ghana and Rwanda and maybe even
okay,
Nairobi, but East
yeah,
Africa, my heart is in Rwanda. Like
okay.
it's just a beautiful place, you know. And I know you have some questions, Kai, but you and Nikala, I think, are like kindred spirits. So I'm just glad that two powerful sisters could actually meet because, you know, what you got going on, Kai, in terms of, you know, Kai is a trainer for people in Bitcoin, like actually teaching our people how
Oh,
to get into cryptocurrency. She's into investments and all of that, and Nikala
yeah.
does. She does AI. She left that out, but you know, she said, you know, here's what Nikala said to me a couple weeks ago. Hey, brother Haru, you've done so much for me and you're doing so much for my mother, my family, and all of that. I'd like to return that love to you. Do you need an AI model built for you? And I'm like, what? You do AI? I'm like, you do AI too? I was like, okay, you need to send me your resume. Let me just know everything that you do. You know what I'm saying? So we've got some really powerful sisters on with us right now.
Yes.
And so one of the questions that Kai did ask was she asked about the visa process. And so,
Mhm.
you know,
Yes.
let's talk about that. And it's a very easy process, by the way.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. I'm seeing other questions in the chat box now, so I'll make sure to get to those too, everyone. So yes, Sister Kai, as far as the visa process goes, when you land, you are able to receive a visa, and you can receive a visa for 1 month, or you can receive a visa for 6 months. I think the 1 month visa may be like around like $80. And the 6 month visa, I think, was around like maybe $150, $160 or something like that. But once you actually, get here and sit down, if you're planning on being here for a longer time period, the company that I use is called My Cousin Connection. That's the company that I use personally to take care of my visa. And I think they're online and have a website and everything, My Cousin Connection. And you pay, a very small, affordable fee for your whole family, and they will go and like take care of all your visa paperwork for you. They'll come to your house, take your passport photos. They came over here and we sat and chopped it up with them for maybe like an hour. And then I got an email from immigration saying that my 10-year visa had been approved. you know
Wow.
so
Wow.
it was
That's
really
amazing.
super straightforward. Now with the 10-year visa, the V12, the caveat is that you do have to go out of the country every 6 months. It's called the reciprocity visa. So you can go to Uganda, Tanzania, anywhere, stay for a few days, and then, come back in. And, that visa lasts for 10 years without having to get any renewal. We did decide to transition to a business visa because I really didn't want to be beholden to going in and out of the country with a toddler and making so many movements, with her being very situated here. So we moved forward with actually starting a physical tech company with a full office, a team here in the Bujisera district. the office is pretty large, and the rent for the office is like $160 US per month, right?
That's not my property
That is
taxes per month in the state.
Right.
right. Like it's big enough to be 2 offices, right? So we're actually planning on turning it into a testing center, now that we have a new space, that we've acquired here recently. But it's very affordable to be able to, set up a physical business here, right? And then you can go through the process of applying for a business visa, whereas you do not need to come in and out of the country with a business visa. You do not have to leave at all, right? So either way, the process is extremely, straightforward. You can come here, you can get a 10-year visa, on a short trip here and be able to, travel freely in and out of Rwanda without having to continue to pay for a visa each time that you come.
Well,
Did you have another question?
let
That's
me just
perfect.
let me just build on that a little bit. So Kai, like for practical purposes, I want you to be clear on what she's saying. You can fly into Rwanda without a visa. You fly
Yeah.
there, and at the customs place, they'll ask you if you want a visa, and you pay right there for a 30-day
Yes.
visa. Now, when I first came to Rwanda, it was $30
Yes.
That
for
is
30
like
days. It was
unheard of.
$30.
That's
And
crazy.
then they had I don't know if they still have it, but they had a East African visa. So this East
Mhm.
African visa you apply for costs $100, and it gives you free movement in Rwanda, Tanzania, and Kenya. So
Mhm.
Rwanda, no, it was Rwanda, Uganda, and Kenya. So those 3 countries. So you'd have that stamped on your passport, and for 3 months you can move around with no problem. The other side of it too, and why this is really important is that I'd like people, and I think Nikala will agree with this. When you're living in a place like Rwanda, like Kigali, or even Nairobi, or even Kampala, Uganda, or Dar es Salaam, all of these cities are so close.
Yes.
Like they're just a 45-minute flight from each
Mhm.
other. Like literally, when you hop on a plane, it's 45 minutes to get to Nairobi from Kigali. I know people who have gone and done business from Rwanda in Kenya during the day and flew back home at night to Kigali. This is how like they left at
Yes.
8 in the morning and came back at 9 at night. You know,
Yes.
so it's a 45-minute flight from Kigali to Nairobi. It's another 45 minutes from Nairobi to Zanzibar. And I'm talking about because this is actually the flights that I took, right? So Nairobi to Zanzibar, Nairobi to Mombasa. It's like a 40-minute flight. And then you're going from Mombasa to Dar es Salaam. That's like a 15-minute flight. Zanzibar to Dar es Salaam. That's a
Yes.
15-minute flight on a small plane. And so
Oh,
you're
I'm
able,
very
yeah,
interested.
absolutely. And then it's like another hour flight from Kigali to Ethiopia, to Addis Ababa. So all
Yes, I
these
absolutely agree.
yeah,
Yes.
these cities are connected. So when you're living in one of these cities, I don't want it to seem like you're living in a country. You're living in a region. So it's almost like flying from Miami to Orlando, Florida. It's a 45-minute flight. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And if you start looking at it that way, you start getting all of these different relationships and people in so-called different countries, but you're able actually to practice functional Pan-Africanism because you're making relationships and doing business in all these different countries, so-called countries that are only 45-minute flights from away from each other. So it's like you can place yourself
Yes.
strategically, and Rwanda makes it very easy. The last thing I would end with before y'all continue is Rwanda also has a program for fast track citizenship. So it's called If You Have Special Talents. So if you have special talents that's going to help develop the country, which I think Nikala should start looking at because it sounds like she's got some special talents.
Yes.
So if you got special talents, they will actually, there's a program in Rwanda where they make, and I've spoken to the minister, the foreign the minister, like the Secretary of State, which is the Minister of Foreign Affairs, or the foreign minister. And he told us directly, like, if you've got special talents and you coming from the Black diaspora, they want you in Rwanda. Like, they want you in
Yeah.
Rwanda, and they're going to fast track your citizenship so you can become a citizen of the country and help build the country. And what you'll be able to see is they don't play around with building, Kai. Like Nikala will tell you, and I haven't been there in about a year, but every time I leave Rwanda and come back a couple months later, there are new things built, new roads built, new things built that weren't there.
Yeah, I mean, even in the street where I live, like there has been so much development, you know, just on the street of new houses, you know, new roadways and so on, you know, just over the past, you know, 14 months or so. So absolutely, you know, the building here definitely, you know, happens very quickly. And like Brother Haru said, you know, the government here does want you here. You know, if you're someone who is coming to contribute in a positive way, you do not have to be rich. You know, they're not, you know, like, oh, we're looking for rich people. Like, no, if you're someone who
like
is
most
coming
other countries.
right, like they're not asking you for financial proof of anything. You know, like I spent a lot of time in the Yucatan, and I considered actually going through the process of, you know, getting long-term residency in Mexico. And they wanted so much money, you know, for me and my children, so many thousands of dollars. And, you know, you had to turn in your bank statements, you know, and multiple types of paperwork and so on, as many of you may know, because I'm sure there are people here listening that have looked into that process.
That is
you
so
know,
funny that you just said
yes.
that. So I just was in Mexico in February. I was there during that coup thing that happened. I had to stay an extra week in Mexico because all the flights got canceled. But that second week I was forced to stay. I just traveled everywhere because I couldn't leave. So I went everywhere. I had nowhere to be. And I loved it. So honestly, my plan, and Haru, I didn't even talk to you, but my plan now is to go to Mexico, move there, not probably as a permanent, because the plan is to get to Africa, but my daughter is in school in the States. And so I want to stay this side until she gets out of high school. And then once she's out of high school, I'm trying to encourage her, if she wants to go to college out the country anyway.
Right.
So when she gets out of high school, the plan is to go.
Kai, I would like to ask you. I'd like to ask you for a favor.
Yeah.
Before you permanently move to Mexico, I would like you to pay a visit to Rwanda.
Okay.
That's
yes,
all I'm going to ask you to do.
I don't have a problem with Rwanda.
I know you don't. I know you
what
don't.
worries me is that having my daughter back in Chicago in boarding school.
No, I feel you. But the type of person you are, you make things happen. And I think that if you go to Rwanda and see, and especially if you make a connection with Nikala and you moving around with her and her crew, I think that you're going to have a revelation, because I know you want to be in Africa. And when we start talking about the cost of living and the ability to be able to function and to have your child in a safe place, because I'm going to tell you right now, as far as women are concerned, Rwanda, Kigali is the safest place that I've ever been, to the point where my wife would go out jogging at like midnight and I would not be worried at all. They don't harass women in Rwanda. They don't have crime like that in Rwanda. It's just not, it's almost like it doesn't sound real.
Beautiful skin.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, it's real. Like,
this skin is beautiful. Come on.
Yeah, y'all both got beautiful skin. You know what I'm saying? And actually, my skin isn't bad right now.
No,
either,
yours is beautiful. You know
it. The whole room full of beautiful skin.
Yeah,
Melanin popping.
But here's what I'm saying, Kai. In terms of a bang for your buck, and to get to where you're going, I think that if you're able to see Rwanda, if you go to Kigali and you're able, just for 1 week, go with your daughter, hook up with Nikala. I think that it's going to be a big revelation for you, as to like, oh, this might be a place for me, because And then I'm gonna let Nikala tell, like, as a woman, like, it's a very empowered place for Black women. Like in Rwanda, 70%, I think 69% of the parliament is women.
Wow.
They have a law in Rwanda that no laws can be passed unless 50% of the parliament is comprised of women. Because what they figured out is that the women are the mothers. They're going to be the mothers of the nation. And who cares more about the future of the nation than mothers? So the rule is that the parliament has to be comprised of at least 50% women for laws to actually stick in that country. And there's a lot of women in power in Rwanda. Like the person who runs the whole business development sector is a woman. You know, she's in charge of business development in the country. And there's just women in very high places in Rwanda. And you can feel it too, like just walking down the street. No one's harassing you. You feel completely safe. You feel like yourself and the person who you want to be. And then your child is raised in an environment where children are actually elevated in that society. I mean, I'll tell you a quick story. When my son, his first school was in Rwanda. So the first time he ever went to school was Rwanda. And when you go to school, the parents would drop off the children at the front entrance of the school. Do you know, Kai, in the morning, all of the teachers stand out in front at the curb and they open the door and they hug the child before they walk into the school. This is what they do at Rwanda. You understand what I'm saying? Like, my son's first experience with school was his African teacher hugging him every morning as he walks out, as he comes out of the car.
And greeting him at the door.
And greeting him at the door.
Waiting for him.
Yes, waiting for him.
Beautiful.
At the door of the car, not the door of the school.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking of the door of the school.
No, she opens, the teacher opens the door and he comes out of the car and she hugs him to have a great day.
That's amazing.
This is what I experienced in Rwanda. So when I talk about Rwanda, I'm talking about these little nuanced things that create a society that I'm proud to be a part of. I'm gonna tell you this too. Living in Rwanda, and I don't want to take over the conversation. I want the sisters to talk, but I just got to say this. Living in Rwanda, Kai, was the first time I ever lived in a place where I wanted to pay taxes.
That part.
Yes, because I'm like, yo, they actually are using the tax money for like actually developing Africa and developing African people and welcoming African people to help develop the country. And I just felt like this is a very mission-oriented place and there's no tribalism there. Like, you know, you can't call yourself a Tutsi or a Hutu. Everyone is either a Rwandan or you're African. That's it.
Yeah.
So, you know, they dealt with this tribalism thing that, you know, many of our people like to engage in, and that's dead in Rwanda. So you're living in a place, and then also I want Nikala to start talking to you about, well, let's just talk about monthly living expenses. Because I've always said, particularly in Kigali, if you have an income of $2,000 a month, just $2,000 a month, you can live very good in Kigali. I'm talking about your rent, your car, your food, those type. $2,000 a month, you can do very well, because that's what I spent living in Rwanda with my wife and my son. We didn't spend more than $2,000 a month, and we lived in very nice places. We rented a car and all of that. So Nikala, even her expenses are probably even cheaper because she's living in a mansion for $340. I didn't get that.
I can tell you exactly how much my expenses are with full transparency. So for me, you know that I do have multiple businesses with payroll and staff. You know, I employ over 20 people, right? So those things are those things, you know, and you have to pay people based on, you know, being a fair rate or above a fair rate for the country that they're based in. That's what I believe in, right? So, you know, those expenses, you know, are probably on the low. Like, it would, for me to actually manage all of the things that I manage on the business side, we sat down and tried to calculate it recently. And we would literally have to be making millions of dollars, which we're not, to be able to carry out the same activities with the same qualifications of staff and so on that we have if we had not mostly relocated to the continent. Most of my staff has relocated to the continent, right? And so all of the Black American people that are working with me, I would say like 90% of them have relocated to the continent, or, you know, one of the brothers is in Mexico, for example, but there are only a couple of our staff members that are still, you know, based in the US at this point, which, you know, it does significantly amplify what we're able to do in terms of impact on the business side. Now, in terms of personal expenses, you know, having a 7-bedroom house, lights, gas, water, we eat a lot. You know, we eat foods that other people don't eat that are a lot more expensive, like, you know, mixed colored quinoa and extra virgin cold pressed olive oil, you know, and we might get some salmon every now and then, which is just like insane, right? Like the foods that we're eating cost a lot more than the foods that like anybody else in this community is eating. And we share food freely. We might have anywhere from 6 to 10 people eating over here every single day, right? With all of that accounted for, transport, you know, having a private driver, having 2 private teachers, you know, for the in-home homeschool, it's maybe like less than $900 a month.
Did you all hear that? And
Yeah.
here's she said it so casually. She has a private driver. You understand what I'm saying? She's not talking about like
banana
multi-car. She has a
That
drive.
appeals to me.
Yeah,
You know,
she has her own private
house
driver.
is surrounded by flowers, and I can even show you guys flowers and fruit trees and herbs.
All right. I'm sold.
know.
I'm sold. I'm coming for a
Dated.
visit. I'm coming.
I
I
can
was headed
No,
back to
you-
Mexico soon, but
here
I'll
a
go
little
to
bit.
Rwanda.
You know, the vibes out here. You see the banana trees. You know, there are fruit trees and herbs like all around the backyard as well, right? So it is a definite shift, because I was considering like, okay, which daycare, you know, things are getting busy. You know, which daycare do I need to put my daughter in? I don't really want to stop breastfeeding her when she was 2. And, you know, I was starting to research daycares. I had never put her in daycare at that point. She was at home with me. And I was like, wow, any good daycare is going to run you like $1,500, $2,000 a month, you know? And then you still have to wonder about, you know, whether they're going to feed your child like Frosted Flakes and hot Cheetos and whatnot, right? You got to wonder what song lyrics is your toddler going to come home singing that day.
Right.
So it really made me very uncomfortable, because again, I'm a holistic practitioner. This year I'll be a board certified holistic doctor. I run a holistic school, Whole Living Academy. Like, I can't have my daughter out here in the daycare eating hot Cheetos.
Right.
You know, coming home talking about a 7 p.m. Friday, 95 degrees. Like, I'm like, no, that's a nightmare.
Right.
Okay. So,
Right.
you know, so it was a shift that had to happen. And she is able to truly live a holistic life within this space. We can drive down the road and she's like, oh, look, banana trees. Look, corn. I love corn. Are those beans? I love beans. Mama, do you love beans? Yes, I love beans. I love plants. I love plants. You know?
Exactly.
And I'm like, what would she be saying, you know, at this age if we were still in Third Ward right now?
Right.
Mommy, why is that
You'd be doing
man
the
sleep on
TikTok
the
dance.
ground? Like, I don't know, baby. I don't know why he sleep on the ground. It's an infrastructure problem, you know. So, you know, so there are certain things that we may want to solve within society, but we really have to decide first, what quality of life do you want to create for you and your family, right? You can't solve anything if you're not here, Unplug your nervous system from the machine, from the rat race first. Get a sense of clarity of mind, peace of mind. And then, you can approach supporting your community from a different perspective, right? Me and my friends, we're still very involved with, fundraising for the community center that we were, essentially raised in, back in Houston, right? We're still very involved every week with, managing their social media, their website, bringing capital into the programming there in the community. So it does not mean that you have to be disconnected from the community just because you move out of the country. Whether that's to Central America or whether that's to Africa, you don't have to be disconnected, but you do need to establish some type of generational plan, generational wealth for you and your family. And wealth is not just financial. Do you have a farm? Do you have a garden? Right? Do you own land? You can still buy land here in Rwanda for less than $3,000, and be able to establish a farm
On a
for your
lake. On a
family
lake.
on the lake.
Yes. This is
Yes,
real talk.
even on
This
the
is
lake.
real.
Like they have land right here where I live, like up where Kaylee's has her farm, by the Burundi border. That's not far from here. Beautiful lake, Lake Chihoha. They still have properties up there less than $3,000. You can be by Khalees, milkshake, bring out the boys. So yes. And I mean, with the cops, somebody asked about the cops in the chat, and I have a funny story. So when I first got here, the brother that drives us, young brother named Gad, we're in the car with him, me and my assistant, and we're riding and we get pulled over by the police. And I mean, at this point, I have been here like not even maybe a week, 2 weeks, something like that. Mm-hmm. And, being from Texas, from the South, there's like an alarm that goes off inside of you whenever you get pulled over by the police and you're like, okay, 10 and 2. I'm like, oh, I'm not even driving. Why am I doing 10 and 2?
Sweating.
Right?
Terrible.
Like, it's like this like stress inducing feeling. And you're like, okay, let me just not talk, face forward, not say anything. I'm not touching anything. Okay. And a couple minutes later, the police officer tells us to go. And I'm like, what was that all about? And he's like, no, he was just doing a routine stop, just to make sure nobody is drinking as they're, going down the road. It's nothing. And I'm like, you weren't scared? And when I tell you they cracked up laughing, like belly laughs, like cracked up laughing, like scared. Why would we be scared? And I literally felt like I was going to cry because I was scared. And I'm like, why are y'all laughing? That's not funny. I'm like, they could beat you up. They could kill you. They're like, why would they beat you up? Why would they kill you?
Then they're like, no, they're helping. And we're thinking trauma.
Yeah.
Like, the police don't beat y'all up. They're like, no, why would they beat us up?
Yeah, it's a whole different
and I'm
thing.
Like,
man.
I'm trying to figure out, like, well, what's up then? Like, y'all not getting beat up, y'all not getting killed by the police. Like what's really going on? And it's funny because when Brother Haru talked about, the genocide in 1994, my assistant was telling me about, all of the people that were arrested after the genocide one day. And she was like, oh, they're in prison. Their punishment is really bad. And I was like what? Like, what do they do? And she was like, they have to build houses. And I'm like,
they got to learn real skills.
Yeah. This is real. This is what Rwanda is.
My son just cracked up laughing. My son is he's turning 22 next month. And we just cracked up laughing like, what? That's it? That's not bad. You know how it goes down back in, we're trying to project our trauma onto the situation, from what we've seen and experienced in the U.S. and what we've seen our family members go through within the prison industrial system. We're like building houses. They're like, yeah, and they don't get paid. And I'm like, that's it.
Yeah, yeah, it's
That
real.
sounds
It's real.
safer than living in the hood. You
So
know?
yeah, exactly. And here's another twist to the story too. Since like Kai and Nikala, you all are into like investing and even the real estate piece. So check this out, Kai. Like in a lot of African countries, right? In most African countries, there aren't mortgages. So when people build a house, they're literally doing it in cash, right? Or you buy a house, you're doing cash. So it's a lot cheaper to build a house than it is to buy a house, right? Because you just get the land, you build the house. It's cheaper. So people build homes. Well, what you'll see in a lot of places, like particularly Ghana and Nigeria, you'll see a lot of incompleted houses, right? Houses that are
St.
incomplete.
Croix.
Yeah, like you'll see it. You'll see it. Like you just see like the bricks and everything
First
up
story
and
is built, but not the
yeah,
second
and nothing.
story.
Yeah. So when you're driving around, it actually looks like a blighted community because the houses aren't finished. So in Rwanda, there's a law that the moment that you break ground, I believe it's 2 years, but you have 2 years to build your house. And if you don't finish building the house in 2 years, the government buys it from you at cost.
Wow.
And then the government will complete building the house. And the reason why they do that is because they don't want people to be in the process of building a house for 20 years and it's not painted. It doesn't, and it makes the neighborhood look bad. Right? Because you basically just get these like bricks that get weather damaged, they get all dirty looking, like everything needs a power wash. You understand what I'm saying? It's because what people are doing is every couple months they'll get some money from wherever they are and then they build onto their house. But the government says you've got 2 years to do it. And if you don't, you give us the receipts for all of your construction. We will pay you for that and pay you for the land. We now own it and we will build the house and finish building the house and then sell it. So they figured out solutions to problems, right? Like, I don't know if you've been to the Caribbean, Kai, or even other parts of Africa. There's a big problem with people speeding, like buses and taxis speeding, and it causes a lot of accidents. And now you've got a pressure on the healthcare system because people get into car accidents all the time. Well, they solved that problem in Rwanda by having a thing called a speed governor. So a speed governor is a device that you put into the engine of every car that is engaged in commercial activity. That's, delivering people here and there because you're incentivized to speed because the more drop-offs you get, the more money you make. So they're speeding all day. So they know that human behavior is going to be inclined towards wherever the incentives are money-wise. But in Rwanda, they know that people are going to speed. But what they do is on the road, you have to have, because you have to go like for a checkup every 6 months for your car. And it has to get certified that the speed governor is in there and working. And so the police will pull you over sometimes if you're a driver and they'll look to see that you have your speed governor, because what the speed governor does is it makes sure that your engine will not take the car faster than 30 kilometers an hour. So even if you wanted to speed, you can't speed. So when you drive around in Rwanda, it's actually like it's almost like, how can I say driving in Rwanda compared to other places? Traffic doesn't go faster than 35 miles an hour.
Oh, that's okay. My goal is to have a driver as well.
Yeah, but what I'm
Not
saying is
my
no.
problem.
Yeah, you can get that. No, you can get that. But what I'm saying is that there's no like speeding like crazy, driving 100 miles an hour.
Right.
Driving in Rwanda is almost like, it's like where you'd want your grandmother to drive, because there's no stress like that. Like, like it's not that terrible. It's not compared to like Lagos. Like driving in Lagos is a whole different experience. Like you better like sign up for Indy 500 if you're driving in Lagos. So it's like,
Even Mexico.
yeah, I'm sure it's terrible, right? So like just Rwanda is just a whole different place in the way that they attempt to solve problems, and they're successful in solving problems. And even in the construction for public works projects, Kai, They have like any place there's a construction site, they have a big poster up with the completion, the proposed completion date.
Mm.
This is the first place I've seen that. So they'll be like, okay, this road will be completed by September 2026. And guess what? It's completed by September 2026. So they keep their word on what it is that they say that
Yeah.
they're going to do. It's just a whole different society. It really is Black excellence to a whole different level where you can actually see it in motion. It's very inspiring. So because you and Nikala have met now, I don't think there'd be any reason why you all wouldn't connect. And we love seeing our people come to the continent, and because she was ushered in, and so this is my attempt to usher you in to Rwanda. That when you go, you contact Nikala. I'm gonna send you her number, and you all can just chop it up as two sisters trying to make a difference in this world and situate yourself in a place where you can thrive with your children as best as possible.
Right.
You know what
I'll
I'm saying? Because
definitely
that's
come
what it's all
visit.
about.
Yes,
I'll,
absolutely.
I'll definitely come visit, and I'll reach out. And yeah, maybe I'll put off Mexico and go straight to Africa. I mean, just out of the states is guaranteed.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
done with it. I'm out of here.
yeah. No, no,
And
no,
Well,
even
no.
the
I
property in
spent
St. Croix.
a lot of time in Mexico, and I would definitely say, in general, for us, Rwanda over Mexico, right? When you talk about expatriation, there's a type of expatriate that each country attracts, right? And so you have to think about who you would like to be in community with when you have children. Now, if you're just retiring and you're just going by yourself and it's like it's the Kai show and and that's it. I have a whole list of places. Like I've been to like almost 20 countries. I have a whole list of places where I could tell you if it was just mama, right? But when you're thinking about your family, then you have to think about the education, the community, how easy is it to bond, with the people around you, for yourself, for your children, right? Those become bigger questions. So, Mexico is beautiful. Like I love the Yucatan, I love Merida, I love Progreso. We I took my daughter to Progreso for 3 months back in 2024, and we rented a beach house, right there. You could pretty much like look out and see the ocean in Progreso. And we were there during the Category 5 hurricane, Hurricane Milton, back during that time period as well. And, we had a beautiful experience, but she was not really able to connect with anybody in the community. We tried going to like Little Gym, Merida, engaging ourselves in different, homeschool activities for toddlers, but the connection just wasn't really clicking, right? So I didn't want to, have it where she's kind of raised in a vacuum,
Mhm.
like, okay, you have your family, but that's it.
Right.
And then, you can kind of lack some of the social skills that are so important for child development because you're in this beautiful location and you're with your family, but then there's a disconnect, maybe, right? So, what I can say is that, we do miss the ocean. It was beautiful, being right there on the ocean in Mexico. Absolutely. But they do have wonderful lakes here, so you do still get that time by the water. And the community here is really unrivaled. Both the Rwandan community has really pulled us in, embraced us. I was gifted a cow. That's like the highest compliment that you can give to somebody, in Rwanda is to
Are
give
you
them a
getting
cow.
married? Isn't
And
that
a good
the gift of
female,
the wife?
it was a dairy cow. She was a dairy cow.
Okay.
She's black and white. She's a dairy cow. And that can actually produce like $500 a month, in cash flow for you when you have a good dairy cow. So when somebody gives you a cow, it is a stronger gift within this community than them giving you a car, right? Like you can make even more money from having a dairy cow than having a car and going and, driving taxi, right? So, this community is so warm and so welcoming and so embracing. If you come in, with your beautiful smile, your beautiful heart, that you're carrying into this conversation, Kai, you would definitely be pulled in by the community and uplifted for who you are. And like Brother Haru said, you can really feel like a superhero, when you come into this community because people identify your gifts quickly and really lean into those gifts in terms of, utilizing what it is that you have to offer, affirming what it is that you have to offer. My tech company here, we went to the International FinTech Forum in Kigali back in February. And we were gifted the tickets to the FinTech Forum by a brother from the Tech Hub in Kigali, Norskin, Brother Shiba. You can look him up. He founded Digital Realm Entertainment, the first video game company in East Africa. And, he gave my whole company tickets to go to the FinTech Forum. And once we got there, I met this sister from India. When I was walking into the building, we just started chopping it up, talking. And she was like, oh, what company are you from? And I told her, she's like, oh, that sounds great. Is your CEO here? And I was like, oh, it's me. I'm the CEO. And she was like, okay, great. Can you do an interview with CNBC? Be in the media room in 15 minutes. And I'm like, okay. Like you could just walk into those opportunities. We received the opportunity to be on CNBC, from having a wonderful conversation about, the work that we're doing here. And so you can just run into these very blissful opportunities all the time. If you just shine your light everywhere that you go, you'll find that you're always attracting good opportunities, right? Right now, we're starting a community center here in Niamata. We just secured a space recently. The community center is opening in about 2 weeks, where we'll have a farmers market, martial arts class, different workshops and classes for the community. And everything just came together for that to happen. We were having conversations about it. And then, the space came together, that had, more than 10 rooms on about maybe 2 acres of land for less than $500 a month for us to be able to host a community center. So when you want to do things from the heart, here in Rwanda, you'll find that every door, every opportunity is open to you to be able to accomplish those things. Now, one thing that I do want to say before we run out of time is if you do not already have a business and you don't have experience running a business, keep your job. Keep your job and work remotely because the cost of living here is so low. But if you're just living off your savings or your retirement, that can burn quickly. You're going to get here. You're going to be so in love, so impressed. You want to go, get massages and eat at the best restaurants and go to the spa and do all of these wonderful things. Or a few years, time can really pass. When you're out here doing Pilates and Tai Chi and, eating fresh fruit every day, time can go really fast. Okay. So keep your job, even if you're just working part-time remotely, right? Keep some coins coming in because you'll find that you're able to save, that you're able to invest, that you're able to buy land, that you're able to thrive. Even if you just have $40,000 a year coming in remotely, you'll be able to really ball so hard, like as the rap song would say, you'll be balling so hard after 40K.
No,
That'll
it's
be
real.
one of the streams of income. I'm signing up. I'm signing up next week.
Absolutely, sis. And here's the deal: is like, we just start running the numbers. Like, just run the numbers. Like, she's telling you her expenses every month is about $800,
That's
right?
crazy.
$800 full expenses, right? So, like, these are the numbers. Like, it's real. $800 a month. This is her living expenses. So it's like, why wouldn't you want to explore that opportunity to live in a place with no crime, a tropical environment, peacefulness, great community, not just of not just of black folks from America, but like black folks from diaspora. When you live in Rwanda, you meet people from Kenya, you meet people from Tanzania, you meet people from Ghana, you meet people from Texas, you meet people from Mississippi, you meet people from Florida, New York. I met people from different Caribbean islands in Rwanda who people are quietly just moving, not only just to Africa, but they're also moving to Rwanda because there's a lot of people from Nigeria and Ghana and Rwanda who don't want to go back. They want to stay in Rwanda because of the way that the Rwandan government moves. Like, it's just, you want to live in a place where there's competency of those people who are making policies. So even if you don't agree with their policies, you can at least understand the thinking, right? But there's a high level of competency, and that's the type of
And
environment I want
working
to
for
live
the
in.
good of the people.
Yes,
Working for the good of the
yes,
people, which is
yes,
no government anywhere else, really. Not
absolutely.
many.
And when you get there, Kai, you might even shed a tear because of how beautiful it is, not just nature wise,
All
but
right, all right.
the
You sold me. I'm
no, but
coming.
really, like, no, you gotta listen.
I was
The
planning on coming. I was just going to do a two-step so
No,
I
no,
didn't
no.
leave my daughter so
You
far
should
away.
no. You should accelerate it and go with your daughter, and I think she'll love it too. And when you go, I'm gonna introduce you to a brother named Gaidi who has he started a math school.
Mhm.
If your daughter's interested in something like that, it's like a math university for students.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Yes.
send you that
That's her
information.
favorite subject, like it was mine. So,
Yeah, so there's a brother that we both know, me and Nikala know, that I met when I was in there. That's she mentioned Autumn, that's her husband. His name is Gaidi. He just started a math school. Like, the focus is on STEM, and they're doing some great work. And definitely you can go to the campus and see what's going on there with your daughter. But their their landscaping game in Rwanda is on a different level. Like, when you drive in Kigali and you see the landscaping and how the flowers and you think you're like you think you're in like West Palm Beach, like in the rich people's neighborhood. And I'm just telling you that, like, the way that the place is kept, the cleanliness, the roads, it's you know, it's incredible. It's incredible. It's like, man, I could live here forever. Like, you could really just disappear here, live here, and have just a great, peaceful life. So
I'm
I
coming. I'm
always
going to have to get
tell,
off shortly. I have an appointment coming up.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We're gonna log off. And Nikala, I want her to call in regularly and be a guest on the show because this is about, like, real things. None of this is theory that I'm talking about. So I want to introduce people who are listening to real movers and shakers that you can contact and get real information from. And, like, if you're in Kigali, you can move around with Nikala in her, private driver, you know what I'm saying? And you can go from A to B to, and see what's going on, because there's a lot going on. What a lot of people don't know is that Rwanda built itself up as the convention center of Africa. So all of these high-powered meetings around technology, artificial intelligence, economics, trade, these meetings happen in the Rwanda Kigali Convention Center. So every weekend there's some type of interesting conversation from people all over the world who are movers and shakers in different fields. And it happens in Rwanda, and they set it up that way. So you can meet, like, you can increase your global Rolodex very easy in Rwanda. Like, it's a metropolitan place with movers and shakers. And it's just something that I want people to see for themselves first. Like, just before you make any permanent plans, like to go Mexico or wherever, just go to Rwanda for 2 weeks or a week.
Will do. I'm going to do it. I'm gonna go check flights right now. Check the schedule. Check Sela's school schedule, and we'll make some plans. But I'm
Yep.
gonna have to run. Thank
Yes,
you
man, it
so
would be
much for having me on,
wonderful.
Haru. Nicole,
Yeah.
Nikala. It's Nikala, right? Am I
Yeah,
saying it
yeah.
right?
Yes, Nikala.
Yes, Nikala,
Nikala.
it was
All right.
wonderful to meet you, Kai. Yes,
Thank
and
you
we look
so much.
forward, to seeing you here.
Hmm.
I'm coming. I'm
Yes.
coming.
Right. And I
I
want to
trust
say,
Haru, so I'm
yeah,
gonna
no, you
come.
gotta
I'm gonna
check it
check it
out.
out.
You gotta check it out. And there are two questions that people ask, and maybe
Uh,
this will be relevant for Kai as well, because I know we all have to leave. But people ask about the shots. So there's no vaccine requirements to get into Rwanda.
Thank gosh.
Okay, you
Thank
don't.
goodness.
no,
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 there's
there
no
are not.
vaccine
I don't want to do
requirements.
the shot.
No, there's no vaccine requirements. There's no
Yes.
even. Did they ever ask you for a yellow fever card when you got into the country?
No. So
No.
that is only relevant if you're coming from an endemic country. So if
Right.
you're coming from a country where yellow fever is prevalent, then you would need to get a yellow fever card
Right.
or a vaccination exemption to be able to come to Rwanda. If you're coming from the US,
You
that
don't
is
need
not
a.
relevant to you.
Yeah, you don't need it. They
You
don't
do not have
ask
to
you for that.
get any shots
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Yeah. The only place where they've
Yes.
ever asked me for a yellow fever vaccination um, was, I believe it was Zanzibar. We flew into Zanzibar and maybe Kenya. That was it. No other place in the world where I've been have they asked for it. And if people have questions about the yellow fever vaccination card, link me up and I can help you work your way around that. So that's not a problem. But in terms of like these other vaccines, like people from America asking, like they ask you to take more vaccines at your child's school than they do entering Africa. So I don't want you all to sometimes when we talk about Africa, people come up with like 1 million reasons not to go. Right? They'll say things like, "Oh, but Africans don't like us." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, when has that ever stopped
Yeah.
black people from living somewhere? Like, you have no problem living next to like Becky Sue and Billy Bob. They don't like you, but you move into their neighborhood. Like, you know what I mean? That's never stopped you. And then like the issue of the vaccines, like your child got to get vaccines to go to these schools. And you've worked your way around that and put your child in school. So if you really want to get to Africa, you can get to Africa. Vaccines is not an issue. There is no COVID vaccine required to go to any of these African countries. There's no, that was during the time when COVID was big, but many African countries didn't even have that during the time. Like definitely Tanzania didn't. You could have walked right into Tanzania. But as of right now, there is no vaccine required, and the only thing is a yellow fever
No,
card.
there's not.
Yes, and the
Yeah.
only thing is a
So,
yellow
yeah,
fever card, and that's a worker. You could work around that one all day long. So,
yes, and you can use vaccination exemptions, when you're traveling to countries that do require those things. What I've noticed is that traveling between East African countries, they may ask you for it. Like when we went from here to Uganda to Ethiopia to Cairo to Aswan and then like circle back around. Then there was like, oh, do you have a yellow fever vaccine? And we did not.
Right.
And so, I just smiled and I said, no, we don't. And I don't think they were supposed to let us pass, but a lot of things are flexible, if you're nice to people,
Yeah.
so
But you see, but Nikala, you got nice teeth though. You got nice teeth. So you might get a pass. You know what I'm saying? Now everyone got teeth as nice as you. So for the people with bad teeth, you're gonna have to find out a different workaround. You know what I'm saying?
You might have to slide a dollar out there or something.
Yeah, but you and Kai got nice teeth. You and Kai got nice teeth, so y'all are good. So for those of y'all who ain't got nice teeth, y'all can holler at me about the yellow fever thing. But Kai and Nikala, y'all are good. Just flash a smile. Y'all got nice teeth.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I'm gonna run.
Yes.
Give me 10 minutes to
Thank
get
you,
ready
Kai.
for my next client. But thank you so much. I will be in touch. Haru, thank you again. All
No
the
problem.
time. Thank you.
No problem. I've shared
and I'll
each
thank
other's
you
phone
so
numbers
much.
on WhatsApp. I've just sent you each
Okay.
other's
Yes,
phone numbers so y'all
yes.
can link up. All right.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
So one thing that I
I,
did want to say about the repatriate community here in Rwanda, I would say from my experience, Ghana and Rwanda have, and I'm saying Rwanda, y'all might be like, I thought it was Rwanda, not Rwanda. So here in the local language, Kenya Rwanda, they actually say it as Rwanda. They don't say Rwanda, like
Right.
we do as Americans, right? So the Black American community here and in Ghana has been the most powerful Black American community that I have met so far outside of the United States. So the community here sticks together and works together, meets together, organizes together, does work to be able to help the community together. It is a really beautiful community. And if you come here, you're going to quickly get to know pretty much all the other Black American repatriates because we have a very organized system of getting together, right? So it's not like you have to go out and try to find people and meet people. You're going to be pulled into a very warm and welcoming community and a warm and welcoming community of children for your children as well. And so that's one thing that I find to be really exceptional about here. For those of you who are asking about retirement, and Sister Kaya, I know you have to tap off,
I'm going to
so
keep
that's totally
listening. I
okay.
just got to go get ready.
Yes, absolutely. So, for those of you who were asking about retirement, if you have a Social Security check or a pension check that you are receiving, I don't care how much it is. I don't care if you're only getting $600 a month, you can have a nice lifestyle. You can get a nice two-bedroom house, in the community where I live for less than $200 a month, right? You can get an apartment for even a lot less than that. So you can have a nice lifestyle no matter how much that check is. I don't care if you retired from McDonald's. You were working at McDonald's for 40 years and now all you get is $600 a month. And that's all you guys. Okay, cool. You're not going to live a good life in the US. Okay. With that little check, you're not going to live a good life in the US. You are going to be struggling. You can take your little $600 check and you can live a very healthy, beautiful, fulfilling, rewarding, organic life here on the continent, particularly in Rwanda. So take the check and come on, okay? Now, medical care. You may say, okay, but I'm over 60. I need to go do my doctor's visits. My Blue Cross Blue Shield is based out of
Mhm.
such and such. Like, you can get medical insurance anywhere in the world. Okay. Everybody sells medical insurance. Like the US is not the only place that has health insurance. Health insurance does not cost as much in other places as it does in the
Yeah.
US.
And even
If
paying
I
out of
go
the
to the
pocket,
doctor,
even paying out of the
I
pocket
pay
is
out of
very cheap.
pocket.
Yeah, it's very cheap. Like to get a scan,
I
like
pay
an
out of pocket.
MRI or a CAT scan, is like
Yeah.
$100. It's like it's cheap. Whereas like in the States, it'll cost you
Yeah.
like $3,000 for the same scan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I have a condition with my iron. I have hyperchromic microcytic anemia, a genetic iron condition. I go get full labs run regularly. I'm talking about a complete blood count, like everything. And going to the doctor, seeing the doctor, getting labs, everything included, it has generally not cost me more than like $15, $20, you
Exactly.
know? And when I go in, I walk in, sign in, and go meet the doctor.
Right.
This is going to a private clinic. It would be even cheaper if I was going to the public hospital. But this is
Yep.
me walking in with zero wait time,
Yep.
right? Being able to meet with the doctor, get full labs, make sure that everything is good.
Right.
If I need to get some iron, I can, get that. It might cost, less than $10 for the
Mm-hmm.
highest quality,
Mm-hmm.
right? When other family members have come here, if they've had to go to the doctor for, any number of, pre-existing things, It's never cost more than like $30. Here in
Right.
Niamata, it might cost you $40, $50, at King Fazal in Kigali. And that's where you can get, any kind of treatment, that you need to get for any kind of health condition that you have.
Absolutely.
It's an operated hospital. So when you're
Absolutely.
talking about medical care, you have to understand that things do not cost the same in other places as they cost where you are now. So you may think like, what
Absolutely.
do I do without my health insurance? Do you have $20? You can go to
Yep.
the doctor. You can get all your
Absolutely.
tests run, you know,
This is
like,
real. A lot of people don't even know that. Like a
you
lot of
know,
people don't know it. Like, you know, like it's cheaper to literally fly from New York to China and go get like an MRI than it is to actually get an MRI in the United States. Like
for
it's
a lot
cheaper
of
to pay a
things.
ticket to go and just fly to China and get an MRI scan and fly back to the United States than actually getting an MRI in the United States because all the prices are just inflated. And a lot of people don't know that because people don't travel. They don't know that like healthcare is cheaper in many parts of the world. Like it's dramatically cheaper. And by the way, your iron condition, you need some bioavailable copper.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, Dr.
that's
Haru, can I purchase it from Herbal Results? Because I'm a huge fan. Now I have to tell you all, Brother Haru, he is the real deal. I've been communicating with this brother for some years now. It's been, maybe about 7 or 8 years, at this point. And, seeing his journey with his products, with Herbal Results. I am not an affiliate or an employee of Herbal Results. I want to say that this is not a paid advertisement. you know, this is just me like telling y'all the truth. My mom, she was dealing with a very serious condition. And just full transparency, know that Brother Haru does eradicate cancer. She was dealing with a form of cancer that the doctors were saying was incurable, and that the only thing she could do was get chemo for the rest of her life, and maybe she could have a little bit more time. She has been taking the maximum strength olive leaf extract since October. So, for about 6 months now. And the cancer is completely gone from her bones. And the doctors are like, what? Like, how did this happen? You know? So, along with eating a keto diet, she's been doing a little bit of fitness, not too much, but, she's been doing a little something. She recently cut out sugar, and that's been helping a lot more. So, I'm definitely a huge proponent of, the products that Brother Haru has been creating. He sent my mom some vitamin D recently. It got her vitamin D levels up to normal, like within about a week. Taking the vitamin D3 and K2 from Herbal Results. And this is just me speaking based on my family's experience with his product. So I don't know if she really would have had a chance, honestly. Like, I felt like I was breaking out into hives when she told me the news from the doctor, where they were saying that there was nothing that they could do. And then shortly after that, she went back and they're like, oh, the cancer is gone from your bones completely. And this is based on taking his product. So honestly, guys, if you have anybody in your family that's dealing with something super serious, like definitely check out the products. I'm in the process of trying to order some now to bring here to Rwanda so that we can be able to share it, with the community here as well. And this is something that is a big, big solution for our communities and the things that we're dealing with as a people when it comes to these non-communicable diseases. So many people now are dealing with kidney disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, various forms of cancers, issues with fibroids, having to get hysterectomies for the womb. And this brother, he's here and he's uplifting all of us and the things that we're doing. And you haven't even heard him talk about, the things that he's doing that are really transformational for our communities in a major, major way. So definitely, I see you got the Herbal Results logo up here. That's not my
Yeah.
logo. That's his logo, y'all.
Yeah.
Definitely like go and check that out, and utilize that to be able to extend the lifespans of your families. Like for
Yeah, I
real.
mean, it's a great testimonial. Hope to have your mother on live with you one of these days and record her,
Mhm.
story so that more people know. I mean, when you get cancer in the bones, it's a very serious thing. People come up with that. They call it multiple myeloma when you get cancer in your bones, particularly if it's started in your bones. A lot of times the cancer can metastasize
It was
to the
stage
bones.
4.
Right. Stage 4. I
Stage
mean, so
4
we've
triple
had
negative.
yeah, we've had a lot of these cases, and I'm just glad that you were able to convince your mother to take it seriously. And it was a pleasure talking to her when we got on the phone. But yeah, I mean, we get these reversals quite frequently, and we get the word out there. But like, see, this is the thing. I'm I'm very, very grateful of having the life that I have in the sense that I get to hear reports from people who I might not have known because we've never met physically, right? We just know each other from Facebook. You follow me, I follow
Right.
you, and we've
Yes.
gotten in touch. And you saw the work that I was doing, and you did your own research as a holistic student yourself and somebody who's getting into that field, and saw that everything that I was saying, the research pans out, the results pan out, and then you were able to use kinetic knowledge, which is movable knowledge, to give this information to your mother when she unexpectedly is told she's got stage 4 cancer, and we're able to reverse the situation really quite easily with her just following the protocol without having all these crazy side effects. And so I'm just glad that we've been able to affect your life in a positive way outside of rhetoric. And then also on the flip side of that, the work that you're doing and being exposed to the people here watching, you're going to help people, because I know we got 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 people who are going to want to come to Rwanda to actually check out what we've been talking about, because it sounds too good to be true. But I just tell people, reserve your opinions until you actually land in Rwanda, and you'll be marveled by what you see and what you feel and what the opportunities are in a hidden gem in Africa. In the heart of Africa is a hidden gem called Rwanda. And I'll never stop talking about it,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know that we are almost out of time. So I just want to
Yep.
mention to everyone again, if you're interested in homeschooling your children, we do have a program available to you. It's live, it's online, it's holistic, it's cultural. We're preparing the students for the technology, all of those things. And that's at wholelivingacademy.com. Wholelivingacademy.com, like WHOLE. So definitely, check that out, utilize the resources that we have. If you're looking to buy affordable land that's in the US in a natural area, we can help you with that. Legacylandowners.com, legacylandowners.com. If you're looking to improve your health and you've taken one of those DNA reports to find out where you came from, and now you want to take that further, we have built an African American health marker based human genome database, me and my son. And you can peruse that at afrogenomic.com, afrogenomic.com. Okay.
What do you all do at
So
Afrogenomics right
definitely,
now?
so if someone has taken a DNA test, like with Ancestry, 23andMe, any of those sites, right? You can download your raw DNA file. We have developed the African American health marker based human genome database where we're able to tell you the strengths and the challenges within your DNA markers that are within that existing file that you have, and give you a comprehensive health plan based on that. with Afrogenomic.
Okay, great. Excellent. Someone's asking for all of your
Yes.
websites. So what I would say to, I think is Brittany is asking on Facebook. Nikala has a Facebook profile. Just look at her name, type up her Facebook, and then send her a message in her inbox, and she can send you everything that you're asking for in terms of reaching Nikala. Because if you're on Facebook,
Yes.
you'll be able to access her on Facebook. Someone's asking where to get the copper. The copper I would recommend is from Global Healing Center. You can get it on Amazon. It's called Bioactive Copper. But just, I guess there's a lot of women dealing with this this iron issue. Let me just point out something with the iron issue. A lot of times, when they're talking about iron, a lot of people don't understand what iron is bioavailable to the human being. So the iron that you need is an iron called heme iron, HEME. And a lot of the iron that's being sold to you is non-heme iron. Now the problem is is that the non-heme iron is iron that comes from the plant kingdom. And this non-heme iron, the iron that comes from the plant kingdom, is not as bioavailable. It's not efficiently absorbed in the body. Whereas iron that comes from animal foods is actually what you call heme iron. So a lot of women who are vegetarian and vegan have a lot of problems with low iron, because even though they're eating leafy green vegetables and all of that, that is non-heme iron, and it's not readily absorbed in the body. The other thing is that iron needs what you would call an assistant. So iron needs copper. So if you have low copper levels, your iron will not be absorbed as well. So now imagine that you have non-heme iron from plant sources and you have low copper. That means that your iron is going to be very low. So the way that you raise your iron is you would take heme iron, HEME iron, which is absorbable, and then bioavailable copper to raise those levels even more. And so that's the problems that a lot of people have. There's some gene mutations that people have that allow them not to have absorbability of folic acid and all those types of things, and that can cause a problem as well. But typically when people have low iron, like the condition that they say you have, I would hazard a guess that you probably have low copper as well. And I don't know if they've ever done a test for copper, Nikala, but your copper
No,
level.
they haven't. But where can I get copper here in Rwanda?
Not sure where you can get copper in Rwanda, but I definitely know where you can get it on Amazon, and maybe you can get it shipped to you in Rwanda. But
Yes.
I don't know if there's any health food stores that have copper, but I can show you all the brand that I would recommend real quick for copper. It's Bioactive Copper, and you just go to Amazon, and it is GHC. That's the name of the company. Global Healing Bioactive Copper. I'm going to just share the screen real quick for you all to see. And then Nikala, you can order this too. Or if you need someone to order it for you in the States and ship it to you, let me know. I can do that for you. Right here is what I would recommend for people, particularly if you're anemic. You're anemic usually because you have low iron. I mean, you're anemic because you have low iron, but it goes further than that. It's because you also have low copper that's not helping the iron absorb into your blood. So this is it right here, Bioactive Copper. Can you see that, Nikala?
Yes.
So that's what I would recommend for people to get if you have low iron, along with what you would call heme iron supplements, HEME iron supplements. That's what you would need. Most of you are taking non-heme iron, and that's why you're not seeing your iron levels increase the way that it needs to increase. Okay, so just want to bring that out to people. It's an easy problem to solve. You know, right?
Thank
So
you.
no problem, sis. So in a couple of weeks, I'd like you to call in again, and let's chop it up some more with some of the things that you're doing, and we can we can focus on, like, we gave a good overview of what you're doing, where we can like take a show and focus on like one website at a time. And so we can talk about, the specific work you're doing in that particular industry, and make people know that, they can avail themselves of your services. There's a lot of people listening who'd be interested in homeschooling. There's a lot of people interested in AI type of work, technology type of work, or technology services. And there's people like, I think you build AI websites, right? You build websites with AI, correct?
Yes, yes. So we build, yes.
Oh, her internet's breaking
We
up a
also
little.
use development combination with, oh, sorry about that. Yes, so we do build websites both with traditional software development and with AI as well. And we don't just build websites, we build, full on systems, learning management systems, customer relationship management systems, donor relation systems, workflows and so on that include automations, so that you have something that, is really, really comprehensive. And my son is actually a software developer, so we still use coding too. I started coding when I was like maybe 6 years old. We do game development as well. We built a ton of games, for our students and for the African diaspora. So, technology is just one of those things, that I love, along with education and holistic health. And I think that as African people, we have so many expressions of creativity that we're able to put into the world. You just have to have a structure for how you are activating that, in the world, a structure, some discipline, right? But you can be all that you are, and put all of that, express all of that into the world in ways where it's able to make an impact. You don't have to limit yourself to being just one aspect of yourself.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. We can be multidisciplinary. And you said the word earlier, but that's part of what it means to be a polyglot, right? And to be somebody who not only speaks different languages, but speaks different disciplines. And, we can't be pigeonholed into like, oh, I'm a lawyer, oh, I'm a doctor, and that's all you know. No, we have to, like you say, we have to be holistic in our approach to understanding this world and solving problems. And so that's why we wear many hats. And so I see you doing that as well, sis. And I want to make sure that the audience knows about you, what you're doing, how they can tap in with you and be inspired by you, because I think that you're a very inspirational figure right about now in 2026. And so thank you for the work that
Thank
you're
you.
doing.
You're inspirational. We're inspired by you.
Yeah, well, iron sharpens iron,
Yes.
iron sharpens iron. And so what we want you all to know is that you can reach her on Facebook, Nikala Asante. Link her up. You can get in touch with her about all the different websites that she has and the businesses she's
Instagram.
doing, and just chop it up. As you can see, she's a down-to-earth sister, and she's definitely willing to talk to anyone about any questions you might have about moving abroad, living abroad, and how to really budget yourself and maneuver in a new environment, but to thrive in that environment outside of America. So I think she's a great role model for that. Someone's asking about the olive leaf extract. You go to herbalresults.net. We have a health show on Mondays. So if you're tuned in on Facebook, we'll be on Facebook again. And in other places, we'll be on herbalresults.net live streaming, and other places as well. If you want to tune in, we do health results Mondays. And so that's Herbal Results. And you can go to herbalresults.net to the products page, and you can get the olive leaf extract. And you can probably, if you're new to what we're doing, just go to the testimonials page, and you'll be able to see all types of reversals in cancer, high blood pressure, heart disease, what else? Diabetes, epileptic seizures. It goes on, autoimmune illnesses. You'll see all of that, fibroids, all of that. You'll see testimonials on the website. And the website is herbalresults.net. Okay. And you just tune in on Monday and we'll get deeper into health. But every Wednesday is wealth results. And Sister Nikala was a great guest for us because it's not just wealth in terms of money, but it's also wealth in terms of time and where you want to live in the world, and to be able to have experiences for your children that are going to carry on for the rest of their lives in a positive way. Sister Nikala, salute to you. Salute to the listeners. And we'll be back on Monday with health results Mondays, and then next week we'll go over some of these charts because we weren't able to do any of the charts in terms of Forex and options this week because we had a special guest with us. And I hope that you all enjoyed it, and I hope that it was valuable for you all to meet Sister Nikala and what she's doing. And let's just give her a round of applause for what she's been able to do with her life. Well done, my sister. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's been such an honor to be on the show. And, you know, my last call to action for everyone would just be that the future is now. You know, don't put things off thinking, okay, well, let me just save up for 15 years. You do not need to save up for 15 years to move to Africa. Like, you do not. You can save up for like a few months and have a job, you know, when you come, that you're still working remotely. So you still have cash flow coming in, but you do not need to keep putting off having a good quality of life. By the time that you get ready, then what? Then you got some other issue to deal with. You know, somebody in the family is sick, somebody in the hospital, this, that, and the other. Then you're like, oh, I can't leave. I can't leave because of this. I can't leave because of that. And it starts sounding a lot like, you know, back when we were trying to get off the plantation, right? And it's like, I can't leave.
Can't leave Massa. Massa feeds us. What we gonna do to eat?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So no, it's real.
Right.
That's why I want to highlight people like you.
Right,
a lot of people.
right. And so if you're paying $1,000 a month for daycare, you know, yeah. If you're paying $1,000 a month for your car note, if you're paying $2,000 a month for rent, you're struggling with groceries, you know, to carry you through the end of the month. You're like, oh man, I got to go back to eating ramen noodles again. It's not healthy. No, it's not healthy. Nobody can know that this is what I'm eating at home. Let me just add some vegetables to it. You know, if that is your experience, you are not alone. First of all, you are not alone, but you can create a different life for yourself, and you can do it now. Do not delay, right? Start creating something different for you and your family now. Don't try to wait until 5, 10, 15 years from now, y'all. Just go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. Okay? That's my message. Thank you, everybody.
Yep, absolutely. And, you know, I did get some people, they just wanted me to show real quick what my Forex charts are looking like. You want to just hold on a minute or two, Nikala, while I show people this before we sign off. So for those of you all who've been following me on herutrades.com, that's a subscription service. And I'll just show you my Forex charts real quick and show you what type of action I got going on. I'm in 3 trades right now. I'm in US oil, of course. I told you all about what's happening with the oil markets, that Donald Trump will bankrupt America because he is good at bankrupting things. And because of that, I'm betting on oil. I'm in a positive trade on oil, as you can see. I have 3,700 pips right now. In oil, it's live. It's moving. You see the numbers moving. This is a live trade. All of this is very real. So as we're doing this interview with Nikala, I'm making money, right? And you see I'm up 3,000 pips with oil. I expect that, you know, the price will just go up in a net fashion because it seems that every Friday Trump lies about the progress of his war in Iran. And what it does, it sends the oil markets back down because people think, oh, there's a resolution, but he's just lying. And they're not going to resolve the situation in Iran. It's going to be more bombings. And so you can expect the price of oil is going to go up. So I put my money where my mouth is. As you see, these are my entries. This is my stop loss. And I'm up 3,600 pips. By the end of the week, probably, or by this time next week, if things keep going where I think it's going to go, I should probably be up 30,000 pips. And then Ethereum, I'm in a trade with Ethereum, which is basically mimicking Bitcoin. I like Ethereum because the pips rise a little higher and you get a higher percentage rise per day. So I'm in, as you see me, Ethereum, I'm up 5,000 pips. And I'm also in a silver trade, which is XAG USD. And as you can see, I'm up 677 pips in silver. So those are the only 3 trades that I'm in right now. And that's what I'm looking to have sniper entries on other trades, but that would be for people who are following me on herutrades.com, where you're able to follow my trades, whether it be Forex trades, heavy metal trades, precious metal trades, or stock options. I gave you all some stock options a couple weeks ago around oil and also sulfur. And we're doing very well on those, and we'll share that next week, y'all. But you could just know that my investments and my positions are doing quite well, and that's just because we're using kinetic knowledge to really look at these charts, and understanding the financial markets is another way that you can free yourself and be able to live anywhere in the world that you want. So this is why having this conversation with Sister Nikala is very important, because I've lived in different places in the world and I've thrived. And Sister Nikala is living in Rwanda in Africa right now, and she's thriving. And I'm just letting you all know that it's not only possible, it's quite probable if you know what you're doing. If you have online presence, if you have businesses online, and you have your cash flow situation together. She's told you she lives in a 7-bedroom mansion. She pays $200 or $300 a month to live there for rent. It's fully furnished. She has a personal driver. She has a housekeeper. She has a babysitter who's now considered part of the family. She's living a high quality life, y'all. And to do this in the United States, she probably would be spending close to $6,000 a month to have this situation in terms of child care and have a home cleaner. And I'm sure she's probably, got some cooking going on too.
Definitely more than that. Yes. Yeah. And so, the sister who cooks, with us, I actually taught her how to prepare all of the foods that we eat, so she cooks foods from all over the world, using natural. So yes, definitely it would cost more than $6,000 a month to be able to, have a space this large with fruit trees, with herbs, with, full-time homeschooling support. We have 2 teachers that work with the children every day, full-time support here in the house, with cooking, with cleaning, and so on. So definitely it would, I would say, honestly, for our quality of life, we go get massages. We would really have to have like 300,000 to 400,000, and that would not be including being able to run the businesses as well. So just to have like the part of the quality of life that costs me like $900 a month, that would, require like a $300,000 a year salary.
Right.
To be able to make
to do that in the United States. Yep.
In the United States, yes.
Yep. And that's real. And so that's why I have these conversations, because there's people like you and people who want to be like you. They want to know how they can invest and have a nice little nest egg. So that's why we have Wealth Results Wednesdays, and that's why I have Heru Trades. I've been doing this for some time, and people ask me all types of questions. So that's why I allow people to subscribe and just follow my trades. And so if you follow my trades, you'll be making the same money that I'm making in the markets. So, we want to provide that for people. Sister Nikala's camera went off, but I don't want to belabor it too much. Yes. We've been on for close to 3 hours now. So I think we've given people a lot of value, and just want to let people know you can contact Nikala on Facebook at her page and then ask her for the different, websites that she may have. And then you can reach me through herbalresults.net if it's health related, or if it's wealth related, you can hit me up through herutrades.com. That website is listed below my name in the video right here. But it's been an honor, it's been a pleasure, Sister Nikala. And like I said, I'd like you to come on my show regularly and just come chop it up, because I know that a lot of people, we're going to have this also on Red Pill's station as well. So it's going to be several thousand more people watching this. But this has been great. None of this is theory. None of this is speculation. All of this is real numbers, real applied results. And we're just sharing the information with the people because we're going to keep doing what we do to thrive. But, who would we be not going back to share how we got to liberation and freedom personally with our people who are looking for the same type of opportunities, the same type of lifestyle?
Yes, absolutely. You all are welcome to email me. Oh, is my connection?
No, you're good.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, you all can also email me at info@wholelivingacademy.com. I know sometimes with Facebook, they may even block certain messages if we're not connected already. Feel free to reach me on Instagram as well. So yes, definitely reach out, info@wholelivingacademy.com. And, Brother Heru, what you were saying about quality of life, I just want to leave people with this. You also have to think about the quality of life of the people that are working with you. My basically adopted daughter, that is my home assistant. She's in school for accounting right now, and that's a part of her salary. The other sister that works with my daughter, I pay for her to go to law.
Oh, the internet's breaking up a little bit.
School. I'm cutting out here. There are layers to things where it's not just about the quality of life that you're creating for yourself,
Right.
but the quality of life that you're able to also maintain for everyone around you.
Yep.
The people who work with me also have, home assistants and people working with their children. The brother who works with me in my tech company has multiple private tutors for his son, who's 5 years old, teaching him piano, guitar, French, so the quality of life that you're able to create for everyone on your team, not just you advancing, but the whole team advancing, right? That can really be exponential on the continent, because everybody in your circle deserves a high quality of life.
Absolutely. And that's the spirit of Ubuntu. I am because we are. That's the bottom line. And that's how we're doing this. So, Sister Nikala, salute to you. Salute to the listeners, to the watchers. This will be up on different places for people to view. It'll be on Facebook. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be on different properties as well. And like next week, we're going to get deep into the charts and deep into the investments and stock options and all of that. But, salute to Sister Nikala. And we're going to have you on, regularly, and just field questions of people who would love to live in Africa and what Rwanda is like, and non-theoretical, but specific questions around tangible logistics as to how people can essentially live a life similar to what you're living, and live in a mansion in Africa and have a driver, and, have your child live in speaking 3 different languages and all of that, So again, salute to you, salute to the listeners. And we're going to just sign off. You can reach us online through the different places that we mentioned. You can reach Nikala at Whole Living. That's WHOLE, wholelivingacademy.com, info@wholelivingacademy.com, or you can reach her on her Facebook page as well. And we are going to be bringing you great programming like this moving forward, with real people doing real things. All right. So thank you, Nikala. And we'll wrap. I know I'm supposed to give you some dates when I'll be in Rwanda to do the lectures, and I'll get that to you as well. I will be getting that to you. Okay.
We're looking for you.
Yep, I'll be
Thank you,
there.
everyone. Thank you,
All
Brother
right.
Haru.
All right.
See you
Bless up,
guys in
everyone.
Rwanda.
All right.
Blessings.